Hi everyone, and welcome to July 2024. I'm Patricia Tate, your astrologer. I specialize in traditional Western evolutionary astrology. I'm excited to share this month's astrological forecast with you. Please like, subscribe, and share to help this channel grow. If you are new here, welcome. You can learn more about my offerings at willowgracemystic.com. For those of you that have been following me, thank you for your support, and thank you for sharing your journey with me. So as we begin this month, the energy is infused with the nurturing, protective, vibrational energy of Cancer. We have the Sun and Mercury and Venus all are transiting through this sensitive sign. They are creating this atmosphere of emotional depth, these family connections, and this could be with family or with people that feel like family. There's a focus on security with home life. And when I also say a focus on home, this could be like the earth, our planet, or this could be our country, our state. It's where do we consider our home life. This is a period where we are going to be called to prioritize our emotional well-being, tend to our personal needs, and for the needs of those that we care about. We begin the month with this excellent time of introspection, with self-care, and strengthening the bonds with those of our loved ones. Now, Cancer's influence encourages us to stop, pause, and slow down. It's about listening to our inner voice. It's cultivating a sense of security and comfort. You might find yourself more empathetic or intuitive, more in tune to the subtle inner energies that are around you. This is a period of healing and nurturing, both for ourselves and for others. And then as we move towards the middle of the month, you're going to feel this noticeable shift in energy. The planets are going to begin their transition into the fiery sign of Leo. Now, this is going to be infusing the environment with this vibrant, dramatic energy. Leo's influence, it always brings a wave of confidence, of creativity, a desire for self-expression. This is going to be a time that you're going to want to step out of your shell, to shine brightly, embrace your individuality, and share your talents with the world. The transition from Cancer to Leo, this energy signifies a move from introspective to more of an outward expression. You're going to be encouraged to take the emotional insights that you've gained and use them as a fuel for your passions, your ambitions. It's going to be a period where your creativity is going to flourish, and you're going to be motivated to pursue your goals with enthusiasm and like vim and vigor, the energy of Leo. This Leo energy, it brings a sense of playfulness, a sense of joy. It's a reminder to find the fun things in life, to engage in activities that bring you happiness, to celebrate your unique qualities. These social interactions, they're likely to be lively, engaging, with a focus on enjoying, of being in the moment and creating these memorable experiences. Now, we do have a couple of dates that stand out, so you might want to have your calendar handy to jot down some of the days that you might want to practice more caution as the month progresses. Now, offerings this month. I am really excited to announce my new Transit Talk webinars. These are interactive educational sessions that we cover a different topic each month. The next webinar is going to be on July 9th, where we're going to explore the concept of your perfected year. This is an ancient timing technique that helps you to understand the upcoming themes and influences that basically shape your year ahead. Now, to learn more, you can visit willowgracemystic.com, and don't forget to subscribe to my email, because I list a lot of astrological insights and upcoming specials as I send them out. Now, for all Cancerians, I am offering a discount of a personalized solar return consultation for you. Use the code CANCER10 at checkout in order to receive the discount. Visit my website to schedule your appointment today. And additionally, I offer live astrology consultations on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every other Tuesday. The next one will be July 2nd, July 16th, and I believe July 30th. So to reserve your spot and to get in the queue, sign up in the link below. I look forward to seeing you there. All right, so let's talk about transits that catch my eye this month. I want to start off with July 2nd. On July 2nd, we're going to have Neptune retrograde starting. Neptune's retrograde, it brings about foggy energy. Neptune is unclear, it's mystical. It's prompting us to work really hard in order to stay grounded and stay focused. Whenever a planet stations retrograde, it means going within, slowing down with moving forward. And then this will be a time that you need to hone your intuition. Use your imagination and work through any karmic issues. And then on July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury entering the fiery sign of Leo. It's going to oppose Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Mercury, thoughts, ideas, communication, travel, entering in Leo, fiery, passionate, opposing, opposite of. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation in the sign of Aquarius. Everybody else. So the way that you're communicating will oppose the planet of transformation that focuses on the community at whole. So this will be a working through of not just like saying what you want. Next, on July 5th. On July 5th, we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Cancer at 14 degrees. Now, new moons are always a time to plant seeds, new beginnings, fresh starts. And so this one will emphasize all topics revolving around what do you consider home. Your family, your emotional well-being. This could be your country, your state, your literal home. This will be a really good time for you to set these intentions around nurturing relationships and creating a safe environment and addressing any personal security problems or difficulties that you may want to, in order to make yourself feel secure. What do you need in order to put into place to make that happen? Next, on July 10th, the sun is going to be in Cancer and it's going to form a harmonious aspect called a trine to Saturn in Pisces. Now, the sun in Cancer is us with in all our feels, emotions, feelings, intuition, trining a harmonious aspect to Saturn, the planet of time and regulation. And Saturn is currently stationed retrograde, so going within in the watery sign of Pisces, going back in and saying, what do I need to fine tune with boundaries, barriers in order to feel safe and secure? Then we have Venus entering Leo. Now, Venus entering Leo, this is going to make it easier for us to express our love and affection. Venus is who we love, how we express love, what we say, feel, and do. And in the sign of Leo is fiery and passionate. So it will be encouraging you to have these more romantic, loving interactions and focusing on enjoying life's simple pleasures. Next, on July 15th. So we're going to have a Mars conjunct Uranus and Taurus. No lie, this is going to be a difficult one. I think it's probably the most difficult this month, and it's a powerful conjunction. Whenever two planets come together, it's a conjunction merging their energies. So Mars is fire, passion, drive. Uranus is disruption, chaos. Bringing these two energies together, this conjunction brings this strong manifestation for major changes. It's a time to focus on these significant transformations in your life as the energy and the drive to make them happen is heightened. This can also be arguments or chaos or disagreements. And so put it on your calendar. That's a day to avoid conflict at all costs. Next, on July 16th, Mercury is going to enter its shadow at 21 degrees of Leo so what this means is Mercury is going to come back to this point when it stations retrograde. So if you have any planets at or around 21 degrees, this is where all things are going to start go back and end. And so Mercury entering its shadow, notice Mercury, thoughts, ideas, and communication in the sign of Leo, your pride, things that you are prideful of. This could be authority figures. Somebody is seen as fun or joy or dynamic. And so you're going to start something here, and then it's going to move forward into Virgo. It will then backtrack to this point, having you rethink, review, revise some of the topics. So notice what happens from this point on in your life, in that area of your life, to know basically a heads up. And you can start to notice it at this time. All right, next is July 20th. Now Mars is now going to enter Gemini. Mars gets fired up. It's the warrior. It wants to cut through things, and Gemini, thoughts, ideas, communication. It is moving forward with speed and in the direction of what do I need to cut in order to get through. This could be AI. This could be new technology. This could be with travel. This is getting somewhere faster or getting things done faster. Then on July 21st, we're going to have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. Yep, it is a full blue moon. This one is in Capricorn at 29 degrees. That is an anaretic degree. I know we had one last month. That's what makes this one a full blue moon. Full moons. So take note of the full moon that you had in June and notice that the themes will then continue on. It's aligning you with your life that of what do I need to figure out with my work situation? How do I advance in my professional potential or education? If this is not about work, this is about getting serious about something. Full moons, they always illuminate where we have these endings or culminations. And so this could be not necessarily ending something, but showing you this is what you need to fix in order to finish this product or finish this project or move forward with this. Then on July 21st, we also have a Mercury in Leo square Uranus in Taurus, and we have Sun in Cancer, trining Neptune in Pisces, Mars in Gemini, trining Pluto in Aquarius. So let's break it down. Mercury in Leo. Mercury in Leo is your communication, your thoughts, your ideas. Squaring Uranus. Remember, Uranus is chaos. So what you're saying is kind of coming off as wrong, or what people are saying to you may come off as a form of conflict, or there could be a disagreement with Taurus themes. Taurus is our money, our resources, food, anything that we take for granted that's for comfort. At the same time, we have the Sun in Cancer. The Sun is us, up on our feels, very intuitive, wanting to nurture and care for, trining Neptune. Neptune that's retrograde, seeing things blurry, having to go within and use our intuition. And we have Mars in Gemini, wanting to cut through things and speed things up, trining Pluto. Pluto is the planet of death and transformation, what needs to be cut away in order to transform during this transit. All right, then on July 22nd, we're now going to have the Sun move into the fiery sign of Leo, so it will now be Leo season. At this time, it will oppose Pluto in Aquarius. Now in opposition, they are opposite of each other. So the Sun in Leo wants to focus on fun and joy and pleasure. And Pluto in Aquarius is, there needs to be some kind of transformation here. Something has to be gone through. You need to be focused on the group as a whole. The Sun in Leo marks this period filled with creativity and fun and joy, but embracing the ego battles of the opposing force of Pluto. This could be a strong desire for control. Pluto wants to have control. So is it you wanting to have control, someone wanting to have control over you? The outcome of this can be tested with like a battle of wills. And then on July 25th, we have Mercury entering into the sign of Virgo. Mercury loves to be in Virgo, so it's thoughts, ideas, communication. remembering that Mercury is moving into Virgo, but then it's going to station retrograde. So to take note of everything that Mercury is now initiating. Virgo is our health. It's thoughts, ideas, communication, getting structured, getting details with organization, taking care of self. And then on July 26th, we have Chiron stationing retrograde in Aries. Chiron is our wound. And so in Aries, it is about us. Aries is the warrior. It's the person. So Chiron will have us going back over parts of our wounded self in order to move forward with healing opportunities. All right, so for Aries Sun and Aries Rising, I want to start off with July 2nd. We have Neptune stationing retrograde. This is in your 12th house at the 29th degree, which is an anaretic degree. So Neptune, foggy, blurry, dreamy, intuitive, in your 12th house of your dreams, your intuition. This is going to be a really good time for you to dive into past life regressions, yoga, meditation, honing your intuition, using your imagination, working through anything that's karmic. The 12th house is a time where we heal and we renew. And so knowing that you're going to be working through these things, be gentle on yourself. All right, then I want to move forward to July 3rd. So on July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury enter into the sign of Leo. Mercury, this is in trine to your first house of self. So Mercury, thoughts, ideas, communication, travel, technology, moving into the sign of Leo, which is your 5th house of fun and joy and pleasure and creativity, bringing more of these things and wanting to do these things. The difficulty is going to come with the square to Pluto. Mercury in Leo brings about the me. These are things that I want to do. Opposing, I did not mean square, sorry. It's opposing Pluto. Pluto in Aquarius represents you in the outside world, you in groups, you in networks, you with what you hope, wish, dream, things that you want to do. And so this could be group affiliations. This could be networks that you're in, things that you want to do, but the group affiliations and the networks are opposing each other. And there has to be some kind of a conflict with this that will be worked out or negotiated. Next on July 5th, so we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Cancer. And for you, this is at the bottom of your chart, your 4th house, your home, your family. This brings in topics of wanting security, wanting stability, setting these new moon intentions, addressing things that have to do with personal security. Now, this could be with your home, but this could also be with where you live, your community that you live in, the state that you live in, the people that live in the home with you. And this is your well-being. So set these intentions to make these connections for these nurturing relationships. Then we move forward to July 10th. So on July 10th, we're going to have the sun in Cancer, and it's going to be trining Saturn in Pisces. So the sun in Cancer brings all the topics, again, focused on you and your home. The Saturn in Pisces, which is retrograde in your 12th house, needing these healthy boundaries. You need a safe place in order for you to have downtime. The 12th house is the house where we meditate. It's where we check in with ourselves. It's doing the shadow work. It is our subconscious mind. It's dreams, intuition. It's connecting to the spiritual realm. So a trine brings in this harmonious aspect of having a safe place to be able to spend some time alone or connect with loved ones or understand or connect to other dimensions and have this solitude so you can transcend and have the inner healing that's needed at this time. Then on July 11th, we're going to have Venus. Now, Venus is the goddess of love. She's love, money, resources. She wants to always bring people together. And Venus is now moving into your 5th house. So she's moving out of home and into topics that have to do with children, creativity, your creative outlet. This could be your children doing something, or this could be a lover. The 5th house is what you want to do for hobbies and pleasure and joy. Now, as she enters into the sign of Leo, it's going to make it easier for you to express your love and your joy, being wanting to do things that are more romantic and take risks on things, having these interactions with others that bring you fun, joy, pleasure, and happiness, because this is in trine to your first house of self and your North Node. Then on July 15th, now this is a hot day. I am encouraging you to take a look at your finances, your cash, your property, your resources. Do this ahead of time, knowing that this transit is going to be happening. This transit, Mars is your chart ruler. So you follow it around the chart, and it's in your second house of what belongs to you, your money, your resources, your skill set, your opinions, your talents. In the sign of Taurus, your home, food, car, your property. Uranus is the planet of shaking things up. It's electrical. Like, this is like an earthquake. This is like something big happening to your money, your resources, your property. And so this is disruption at a base level disruption. And so take time to focus on what is going to be transforming. Look ahead and say, okay, I need to make sure that things are safe and stable and reliable with my spending goals, with my home security, with where my money is at, and things that have to do with home and family. All right. Then on July 16th, Mercury is then going to enter its shadow period. It's at 21 degrees. Take note of, this is in your fifth house. So this either has to do with your children, or this has to do with childlike activities or creative projects that you are starting. Mercury rules over your third house of communication, and it rules over your daily habits and self-care practices. When it enters its shadow, it means it's going to be coming back to this place in your chart. It's going to be moving forward and then moving backward. So reviewing some things that are going to be now being introduced to you. Then on the 20th, we're going to have Mars enter into the sign of Gemini. So when Mars enters into Gemini, Mars, your chart ruler, Gemini, thoughts, ideas, the way that you communicate with siblings and neighbors and cousins, the way that you communicate with email, phone, text, AI, travel. The third house is all types of transportation, news, gossip. It's who we communicate with on a daily basis, whether it be through classes or workshops. And Mars wants to fire up. It wants to initiate. It wants to bring those types of communications into play and make them happen at rapid speed. Then we move to July 21st, we're going to have a full moon. So as we look at the sun, this will be the second. So the sun is still focused on your home, and then the moon will be at the 29th degree in the sign of Capricorn. So this is considered to be a blue full moon, because we had a full moon in June, and this will be the second in the sign of Capricorn. So think back to the full moon of what it was revealing for you, what it was ending, something that has to do with your career, your job, your legacy, your reputation. The 10th house for you also brings in topics of, I need to set attainable goals of how can I get there? What is now being revealed of working on a 1 or a 5 or a 10-year plan in order to move forward, or something that not just with your career, but this could be with education, or something that has to do with your money and your resources. Then on the same day, July 21st, we're going to have Mercury in Leo, and it's going to be squaring Uranus. So Mercury, thoughts and ideas and communication, travel, technology that rules your communication, is in a square. A square aspect is a difficult where it makes you uncomfortable and something has to be changed about it. And so you've got something that you want to do, fun, joy, pleasure, with either your children or with a lover or with a creative project or something. The fifth house is also risk, excitement, sports, and gambling, but it's also your investments. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind, because this is squaring your personal resources, your personal money, your skill set, your attitude towards money. It's your value system. And so this is going to be a time when you're going to have to say, okay, what's going to be going on with this? At the same time, the sun is in Cancer. The sun is who you are, focusing on home, family, and your traditions. So we know that we're going to take that into consideration. It's trining Neptune. Remember that Neptune is currently retrograde in your 12th house, revealing some possible secrets about some things or some unknown. This could also be ridding yourself of self-doubt, because the 12th house is it's where we are our own worst enemy, and like we have this broken record. It's the house of self-sabotage. It's also the house of hidden enemies. And so there could be some secrets revealed, or some things coming out, some things that we just didn't know about that now are being revealed. And we have a Mars in Gemini trining Pluto in Aquarius. So remember that trines are these gifts, these opportunities. Mars is the way that we're communicating, who you're communicating with. This could be with science and technology, or neighbors and siblings. And the trine has to do with your hopes, your dreams, your goals, and your networks. So bringing that all together, telling a story about what is going on in your life at this time. Next, we have July 22nd. The sun is now going to enter into your fifth house of Leo. Fun, joy, children, creativity. Where do I want to take a risk? Like bringing fun into the focus, because this isn't trying to your first house of self. This is all about you saying, I'm ready to be creative. I'm ready to have more joy and pleasure and excitement and take those risks. This could be a time that you are focused on all about you and the things that you want to do, and it opposes Pluto. Pluto being the planet of death and transformation in the sign of Aquarius. This is going to be marking a period of you're wanting to be creative and your self-expression and get it out there. And then there could be these ego battles, because Pluto is saying we need to focus on everybody. And the sun in Leo is, I want to focus on what I want to do. And so there could be these ego battles going on, forcing you to say, all right, who's in control here? The Pluto in Aquarius is in your house of networking. It's in your goals and your dreams, and it's consider it to be your star family, your collective activities. It's where we go and volunteer. It's people that I share the same beliefs with, and it's also groups or organizations. And so there can be battles of will or battles of ego, of who has control. Pluto always wants to have control, and Leo is like the lion wanting to be in control. And so there's this desire for control, either you or with somebody else, and working on finding a balance and integrating this. There could be a test of leadership that could cause uncomfortable or discomfort between you and some of the networks that you are part of. Then on July 25th, Mercury is now going to enter into the sign of Virgo. Now, Mercury loves being here, so now we're going to be bringing in the focus on your daily habits, you taking care of yourself, self-care. How do you communicate it? Mercury in Virgo, it is moving forward, but it's going to be going back over this area of your life. So know that it's having to do with counselors, mentors, vitamins, supplements. When it stations retrograde, you're going to be like looking back on what are you starting and what do you need to go back to. On July 26th, we're going to have Chiron stationing retrograde. This is in your first house of self. Chiron is our inner wound, and it is transiting your first house of your identity, your self-expression, your power, your appearance, your personality, who you are, projects that you've launched, your website, your business card, anything that you say that this is me and this is mine. And so Chiron going back Aries is the head. It's our identity. It's in your first house of self. So this will be an opportunity for you to go turn inward and reflect on all of the things that are changing in your life. So Aries, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Taurus Sun and Taurus Rising, I want to start off with July 2nd because Neptune retrograde is stationing in your 11th house. So Neptune is blurry, and it is our beliefs and its spirituality and our dreams. And now that it's stationing retrograde, it's going back through, these were my hopes, my dreams, my goals. These are the people that I networked with. These are things that I wanted to do. Did they all come to fruition? How do I make them come to fruition? Neptune stationing retrograde can bring about this really foggy, unclear energy. It's going to be prompting you to work really hard to stay grounded with where you're going and what you want to do. This is really going to be a period of you need to have strong intuition and use your imagination with who you're working with and the networks, the groups in which you're in. And this could also be an opportunity that you could work through some karmic issues. As we move to July 3rd, so on July 3rd, Mercury is now going to enter into the sign of Leo. So this is your fourth house of your home, your family, your traditions. The fourth house represents anybody that feels like family. It's the foundation in which you build your home. Mercury is going to be how you communicate or travel or technology, and how do you bring that into the communication? Is this diving into genealogy? The difficulty comes with the opposition to Pluto at the top of your chart in your 10th house. So Pluto is the planet of death and transformation and rebirth. Aquarius means think about the whole, and it's your career. This is your reputation. And Mercury is I want to focus on my home life here. And so there can be this opposition of this is who I am here and this is who I am at home. There could be power struggles with authority. There can be power struggles, and this could be power struggles within your home or power struggles with your job or authority figures. Next, on July 5th, you are going to be having a new moon at 14 degrees of Cancer. Now, this new moon is about planting the seeds of starting something new in which the way that you communicate. New moons are fresh starts, clean slates, and it's wanting this connection with the way that I communicate with people and building stronger bonds. The third house is all types of taking a class or taking a workshop with neighbors or siblings or cousins or people that are close to home, like doing something that is closer to home. The third house has everything to do with acquaintances or meeting people or gossiping, or it's the third house is media and conversation. And so starting something new in order to set intentions around nurturing these relationships and creating this safe environment in order to talk and share and meet people with where they're at. And I would also throw in addressing personal security because it is the third house of communication. So security could be with your email, with AI, with science, technology, and like cybersecurity. Okay, so moving on to July 10th. On July 10th, we're going to have the Sun in Cancer, and it's going to be making this harmonious trine to Saturn in Pisces. I love this because the Sun is saying, let's focus on continuing to nurture these communications. And Saturn in Pisces is stationed retrograde. This is in your 11th house of who you network with. And this could be for group affiliations or it could be for work affiliations. I like this because Saturn is saying, let's have some healthy boundaries. Whatever we are building, this structure, let it be a healthy, harmonious, lasting over a longer period of time structure. And then on July 11th, we're going to have several things happening. So we're going to have Venus now entering into the sign of Leo. Venus is love and beauty and wanting to bring people, places, and things together. And Venus entering into your house of home means that you're going to be able to express your love and affection with family members or people that feel like family to you in order to build this stronger foundation. It's about wanting these romantic or comfort, these loving interactions, and focusing on life's pleasures, like being comfortable, having beautiful things around you. On July 15th, this is really important. This is going to be a Mars conjunct Uranus, and this is in your first house of self. Mark this day down. Actually, you're going to be feeling this before, during, after. Mars wants to cut, wants to remove. It's moving forward. Uranus is the planet of disruption, chaos, upsetting things. It wants freedom. It wants liberation. Taurus is earth, home, family, money, resources, food. This is in your first house of your happiness, your health, your ego, everything that you love and value. So this conjunction can really make it difficult to, it's about freedom and liberation, but it's also about separating some things, cutting away some things. The energy is fiery, hot, not only between you, but this could be with you and other people. So stop, pause, and breathe before saying anything or doing anything. And this could be other people inflicting their energy upon you. As we move to July 16th, Mercury is now going to enter its shadow. It's at 21 degrees. So make a note of Mercury in your fourth house of home. And so the shadow period means that this is where it is, and then it's going to start its, as it moves forward, it makes this retrograde motion, and then it will come back to this point in order to move forward again. So anything that started from here on out, Mercury is going to move forward, and it's going to be activating some things that you're going to have to redo, rethink, revise, remodel, reestablish. Mercury is going to be all those words that you are doing in your house of home, or things that have to do with property or traditions or real estate. All right, so next is Mars entering into the sign of Gemini, and this is on the 20th. Now, when Mars enters into Gemini, Mars is fiery, passionate, desire, wants to cut, wants to remove, or wants to go after, wants to initiate, wants to start. In the sign of Gemini, thoughts, ideas, communication. This has to do with your money, your skill set, everything that belongs to you, your property, your values, your opinions. This could be using technology. This could be, I would look at my income, my skill set, my property, my resources, my value system, everything that I need in order to feel secure. Mars is going to come through this house and say, how do I communicate, or how do I, to do two things at one time, how do I get more for? Like more for your money, like looking over your bills, taking a second look at things and saying, I need to cut my resources here. I need to cut and do this here. How do I use technology in order to make things easier, like with cameras or with your phone? All right. Then as we move forward to the 21st, so on the 21st, we're going to have the second, they call it a blue full moon. So the sun is still in Cancer, and the moon will be at 29 degrees. It's an anaretic degree. So in June, we had a full moon and in the sign of Capricorn, and it was about endings or culminations of something that had to do with publishing for you, legal matters, taking a class, taking a workshop. The second one comes around and it's aligned with areas of your life that have to do with looking at your working situation or wanting to travel here. What do I have to do in order to get this? I need to have a plan, a 1 year, a 5 year, a 10-year plan, or if this is what I want to finish, how do I finish this project? I need to have little mini steps in order to get me to where I want to be. Capricorn is the goal, and it's a time that I need to set up a plan in order to finish. For a full moon, it will reveal some things about this is what I need to do, or these are the steps that I need to do in order to further myself with where I want to go or what I want to do. And in your 9th house, it's cross-cultural, spiritual, education, philosophy, and beliefs. Then on July 21st also, we have Mercury in Leo. So a lot of things going on. Mercury in Leo is going to be squaring Uranus in Taurus. So there's a theme with all of this. So Mercury, thoughts, ideas, everything that has to do with communication with something that has to do with a family member or traditions, people that feel like family, real estate. Your 4th house is the foundation in which you build your life upon. And so this could be your personal life. I say this because it's in a square with Uranus. Uranus is freedom and liberation, shock and surprise in your 1st house of self. You wanting to liberate yourself or wanting to be free or break free from something that has to do with a tradition or something that has to do with home. At the same time, the sun in Cancer, so the way that you're communicating with the people that you're networking, this could be siblings and neighbors and cousins, like people that are close to you. This could be, it's trining Neptune. A trine is this harmonious aspect. Neptune is currently stationing retrograde. And so I have to tune into my intuition. I have to pay attention to what I'm feeling in order to navigate this transit. This might have to do with something that revolves around what are your goals? Who are you networking with in order to make these things happen? The last is Mars in Gemini. We know that this has to do with you, your skill set, your money, your property, and it's trining Pluto in Aquarius. So this has to do with your career, your job, your reputation, authority figures. Pluto at the top of your chart is saying, this is the area of my life that has to transform. And Mars wants to make this happen. So it's in a trine of this is the skill set I need. This is the money that I want to be paid. The 2nd house has to do with your money, your finances, your resources, but the transformation has to happen with authority figures or like you being the boss, your public life, your life path. The 10th house has everything to do with your status or your social, where you want to make your mark on society. And so all of this is blending together for a story about you. And then I want to move forward to July 22nd. On July 22nd, we're going to have the sun enter Leo. Absolutely love this. So it's your home, focusing still on your home, but now it's opposing Pluto. So all of this is like flowing into, I want to focus on my home. I want to focus on joy and pleasure and childlike activities and creativity. And Pluto at the top of your chart is saying, hey, focus on your career, your job. You have to transform something. It can't be all work, or it can't be, Pluto is saying all work and no play. And so an opposition is an opportunity of, there could be ego battles going on. An authority figure, the authority figure could come from within. Like this, the authority figure could be like a family member at home, like a grandparent or a parent, or somebody who, it could be you being the authority figure. And there could be these ego battles going on between you and someone else about who is in control and what's going to be the outcome of this, and making things uncomfortable until you navigate it. Then on July 25th, we're going to have Mercury now entering into the sign of Virgo. I love this. Mercury loves the sign of Virgo. And for you, this is all about bringing the way that you communicate into daily habits of making fun and joy and pleasure a daily habit. Mercury rules the way that you communicate and travel. Your fifth house is children, so this could be your children, or this could be an affair, this could be childlike activities of creativity, art, music, where we want to take a risk. This could also have to do with real estate and property. And so bringing in these topics, Virgo represents nurturing and caring, our health. And so using caution when it comes to all work and no play, and making sure that you are making time for yourself, because it's trining your first house of self, in order to stay healthy. Make this a daily habit. Make sure that you're checking into heart. And then on the 26th, we're going to have Chiron stationing retrograde, and Chiron's in your 12th house. Chiron in your 12th house is all about your identity, and in the 12th house is really going to give you a chance to clean out the attic of with any cobwebs of anything that's karmic debts. This is an opportunity to heal and renew, to go within. The 12th house is where we meditate, we check in with ourself and our spiritual guidance of angels and guides and ancestors, and through Akashic records or dreams or intuition. And it's where we go to withdrawal in order to remove ourselves or deal with any types of affliction and self-sabotage. And so this will be an opportunity for you to come out of this refreshed. So Taurus, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Gemini Sun and Gemini Rising, I want to start off with July 2nd. So on July 2nd, Neptune retrograde is going to begin. And so Neptune is in your 10th house of your career, your job, your reputation, your legacy. Neptune is our beliefs, it's spirituality, it's our higher consciousness. And it's at the 29th degree, which is an anaretic degree of importance. And so Neptune retrograde here can bring really foggy energy about where are you going with your job, your career, your reputation, how do people see you? What are your thoughts about this? It's your where you want to make your mark on society. It's your life path. And so the 10th house is your social status. And Neptune stationing retrograde is going to be a really good time for you to work harder, to stay grounded, and tune in to honing your intuition about what are people thinking, what are people feeling, using your imagination, working through any karmic issues that you have with authority figures or with things that have to do with your career, your job, or your responsibilities. As we move to July 3rd, on July 3rd, Mercury is going to enter into Leo. Now, Mercury is your chart ruler, so it's very important for you to be following everywhere that Mercury is. So when Mercury moves into Leo, the third house for you is all types of communication. This is with email, phone, text, science, technology, like using AI. It's how you communicate on a daily basis with being in the grocery line or being at the dog park or your friends, your neighbors, your siblings. It's also short distance travel, taking classes and workshops. And so Mercury moving into Leo is absolutely beautiful. But at the same time, it's opposing Aquarius. Now, Pluto and Aquarius Pluto encourages death and transformation. Something has to be given up in order to transform into something new. And Pluto and Aquarius is, let's think about everybody else. And Mercury and Leo is, but these are my words. This is what I want to do. And so there's going to be this opposition about things that you are saying. This could be through a class or a workshop, or this connection with cross-cultural experiences like traveling somewhere, somebody that's from further away, or legal matters or publishing. And so know that this opposition is going to be something that has to do with the way that you are communicating and other people, and it could be taken as I said this, you said this. It could be a power struggle over. Remember, Pluto always brings about power and wanting control of. Next, as we move to July 5th, we are going to have a beautiful new moon. So new moons. A new moon in Cancer is a fresh start, a clean slate, a new beginning. And for you, this is in your second house of your money, your skill set, your property. I absolutely love this for you. It's focusing on, I want security. I want my financial condition to be safe and secure. And I want to be able to purchase things that bring me joy and love. And I want to create this safe environment. And I need to address personal security also with what makes me feel safe, my emotional well-being. Then as we move to July 10th, so this day brings the sun in Cancer. So something that we've started, remember your new moon intentions, and then it's going to be trining Saturn in Pisces. Now Saturn is stationed retrograde and it's at the top of your chart with authority figures. And so a trine is this harmonious aspect of you saying, this is really what I want. This is you connecting with an authority figure, being seen as an authority figure, going after something that has to do with where you want to make your mark on society, your reputation, your ambitions, your professional life, your goals. I absolutely love this because this is going inward and saying, this is what I have to do in order to make this happen. And the sun in your second house is focusing on your income, your possessions, your skill set, knowing what you have to do. Like the path is now going to be a little bit more clear. Next, as we move to the 11th, on July 11th, Venus is now going to enter into the sign of Leo. So now everything is leaving the Cancer, the intuitive, the watery, and it's now moving into Leo, which is fired up energy. It is excited. It's hot. And so Venus makes it easier for you to express your love, the way that you communicate with people, the way that you show affection. This transit is going to encourage beautiful communication with neighbors and siblings and cousins and people that you meet, like making new friends. The third house has everything to do with where you connect and openly share and talk with other people. And so this is speaking from the heart and wanting to have these loving interactions and focusing on life's pleasures. Like, let's meet up for coffee. Let's meet up and have a glass of wine. Let's go get together and go listen to this music or this concert. Then on July 15th, we're going to have Mars conjunct Uranus. Now this is hot, and this is, I would definitely mark this date down as one of caution. Mars wants to always cut and remove, and it's fierce, and it, like, think of it as a sword. Uranus is disruption and chaos and wants liberation and wants freedom. Taurus is what is mine: home, food, money, resources. In your 12th house of hidden fears, of self-sabotage, of hidden enemies. And so this could be dreams. This could be shamanic work or hidden enemies. This could be feeling like karma coming back. Having this happen could feel like a personal attack on you for something that you know that belongs to you, and somebody saying or doing something that cuts you to the quick, that could be a secret or something that you keep private. Remember, the 12th house is where we go to withdrawal. It's our shadow self. It's dreams, and it's what we don't share with other people. It's where we keep things private. It's like our attic. And so knowing that this is going on here could be a revelation that you could find out something about somebody else, or something about you might be revealed and be brought to light. I just know that it's going to be a rough day. Like, this is going to be just a rough time, and know the energy leading up to it will be angry and like people just not being very nice. And so knowing that this is going to be leading up to it, it'll give you an opportunity to try to avoid as much as possible. All right. On July 16th, pay attention to what's going on in your life, because Mercury is now going to enter its shadow at 21 degrees in your third house of communication. So the way that you say things, who you say things with, things that you write, things that you journal, anything that has to do with the way that you communicate or travel, science, and technology. This means that anything that you're doing now, Mercury is going to come back to this point. It's going to move forward, retrograde, and have you go back over this area of your life in order to rethink, revise, redo, reevaluate. It'll be all the rewords. And I'll have a separate video that'll be coming out explaining more for that. But just pay attention to the way that you're communicating, who you're communicating with, making sure that you are impeccable to your word, because this could be having to replace a computer or a phone or something that, like, your words coming back at you. And then on July 20th, so on July 20th, Mars is going to now enter into the sign of Gemini. I love this for you because this is all about you. It's your first house. It's you going after what you want. What do you want to cut? What do you want to remove? What do you want to trim in order to share who you are to the world? So Jupiter is in your first house for the next year, expanding everything that has to do with your thoughts, your ideas, your communication, your business, your website, you. The first house is your identity. It's what you present to the world. And so Mars being here is offering you this opportunity to quickly do two things at one time, or quickly cut through some things or remove some things in order to say, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to say. It's everything to do with, this could be using AI. Like, how do I do multiple things at one time? Mars will help you as it navigates your first house of being able to multitask and make that happen, like at lightning speed. Then on July 21st, we're going to have a full moon, the second, which will make it a blue full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So we have the sun in your second house, bringing the focus on what you need in order to feel secure. And the full moon will be at 29 degrees in your 8th house of your shared resources. I want you to think back to the full moon that you had in June. That ended some things or revealed some things to you that had to do with where your money was invested or shared resources, or something that had to do with your private affairs. This second full moon is kind of like the cleanup crew. It comes in and says, all right, you wanted to finish this, or it illuminated some things. And it says, in order for you to finish this, we need to make these small goals attainable in order to get to the big goal. Capricorn is authority figures. Capricorn is time. It is things that we do over time in order to get to the goal. And in your 8th house, it's your investments. It's you combined with other people. So this could be with alimony and child support and cash, your resources, debt, wills. And so there could be something that's revealed that you want to work to pay off, or something that's ending. This could be a contract with somebody. And so the second one is saying, I need to work on having a longer strategy, like a 1 or a 5 or a 10-year plan. Or I need to work towards what are the things that I want to receive or get from this in a 6-month period. Then on July 21st, we're going to have Mercury in Leo. So Mercury in Leo in your 3rd house of your communicating, and it's going to be squaring Uranus and Taurus. Now, Uranus, remember, is the great liberator. It's freedom, it's chaos, and it is difficulty. In the sign of Taurus is your 12th house, like things that you would like to keep private. And so what are we communicating that we would like to keep private? This transit can really bring about freedom and liberation, but sometimes at a cost. There's a lot of things going on. So let me dive into more of this. We have the sun in Cancer, so that has a focus on your self-worth, your cash, your property, your resources, and it's trining Neptune. Now, Neptune currently is retrograde, making things foggy or unclear. That has to do with your job, your reputation, your career, your goals, and the sun saying, this is really what I want to do with my money. And so having to use your intuition during this transit. And we have Mars in Gemini, who you are, what you're going after, what you're wanting to initiate, trining Pluto. Again, a trine is a harmonious aspect. Pluto always requires us to give up something, birth, death, rebirth, in order to have transformation. And we should be thinking about the whole as a group. And so what are you doing with what you are communicating and sharing it for the whole as a group? Is it creating a class, a workshop? Is it a project? Are you having to share your innermost thoughts? Are you having to, or needing to share to make things to be authentic? This square could be, like, I caution you with using AI, that whatever you're sharing, make sure that it's your own words, that it's your own thoughts and ideas. Like, the third house is types of communication, but it's also travel, and it's taking a class and taking a workshop, and it's making sure that what you are doing is authentic and it is real. Otherwise, it will come back because it has the potential to be something really good. Okay, then I want to move forward to the 22nd. So now we're going to have Sun in Leo, and it's going to oppose Pluto in Aquarius. So yay, Sun in Leo is like focused on you and what you want to do, and we're back to that communicating again. We're back to making friends. We're back to networking. We're back to sharing our thoughts and our ideas and journaling. We're back to, where do I connect with others? Where do I build my community? The problem is it opposes Pluto. Pluto says, think about the whole. We have to give up something. We have to transform this. How do we integrate this? There could be, at this time, because the Sun in Leo wants to focus on nothing but fun and joy and pleasure, and Pluto is like work, 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 and focus on the group. And so there could be this ego battle of what you want to do and what you want to say. And this could be with authority figures. It could be a strong desire for control, like who has control over you, or who do you want to have control over? Pluto in Aquarius has to do with the group as a whole, like the universe as a whole, or a network that you belong to. And so this could have you trying to control like an outcome of something. And so there could be like a test going on between these two areas of your life. The ninth house is publishing and legal matters and making sure that you are impeccable with your word. And how do we integrate this energy? Then on the 25th, we move into Mercury into Virgo. Now, I love this for you because Mercury is your chart ruler. Mercury in the sign of Virgo will bring the focus on your daily habits, your mental, physical, spiritual health and well-being, and bringing it into home. I want to focus on my home. And so Mercury here will bring up a lot of topics that will bring in your traditions, your past, people that feel like home, people that feel like family. It'll have you focusing in on your real estate, your property, anything that has to do with your foundation of and communicating what you're doing, knowing that Mercury will be stationing retrograde in August. So know that whatever you're doing now, you're going to be going back and rethinking, reviewing, remodeling, and doing all those things. It's like you having a look at, what does my home look like and what do I really want to do to like revamp this? And the last is Chiron retrograde in Aries. Now, Chiron is the wounded healer. So whenever Chiron stations retrograde, it has us rethink our personal wound. In the sign of Aries is us, the individual. In your 11th house of who do you network with, your dreams, your goals. Are you able to attain these goals? Are they still what you want to do? It's your hopes, it's your dreams, your aspirations. The 11th house is, how do you support the collective? What are you doing, like connecting with work associates, your star family, going back and focusing in on, how do I heal myself by connecting with my network, my social network, my star network. And so going within, offering an opportunity to possibly revamp this area of your life of who authentically connects with you and is real and authentic. So Gemini, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising, I want to start off the month with July 2nd. We have Neptune retrograde, and it is in your 9th house. Now, Neptune retrograde will have you needing to tune in to, because things are foggy, they're unclear with anything that has to do with your experiences that you're having with other people. This could be taking a class, taking a workshop. Neptune retrograde in your 9th house has to do with foggy or unclear topics that revolve around legal matters or publishing things, or things that I do with these cross-cultural experiences. You're going to need to work harder to stay grounded. This is in trine to your 1st house of self, and as a Cancer Sun or rising, you know that you are up for this. It's going to be a really good period that you're going to tune into your intuition, use your imagination, and work through any karmic issues to understand, okay, like what are these signals that I'm getting? Then I want to talk about July 3rd. As we move forward to July 3rd, Mercury is now going to enter into the sign of Leo. Now, Mercury is thoughts, ideas, communication, and travel, and it's focused on your 2nd house. It's the first of the 3 signs that are in your, like we have Mercury and Venus and the Sun in your 1st house of self. Like, it is all about you. And then as we move through the month, the focus is going to turn and be on your cash, your property, your self-worth, your security. What do you need in order to feel secure? So Mercury moving into your 2nd house is really going to prompt you to say, I need to look at my finances with a fine-tooth comb, because it is opposing Pluto and Aquarius in your 8th house. Your 8th house is your resources or your possessions that are tied up with other people. These are your investments. This could be your debt with a marriage partner or a business partner, or this could be with an ex with alimony and child support. The 8th house represents the house where we have these connections with other people, and this is the house of birth, death, rebirth, and transformation, because Pluto encourages all types of deep transformations in order to grow, change, and evolve. And so there will be something, there could be a power struggle that has to do with what is yours and what you have tied up with other people. Having this happen means that you need to integrate it. One is opposing the other. And Pluto could be a power struggle of, this is what we have to do with our taxes, our inheritance, our debt, our obligations. We can't only be focused on our personal money. And so take some time to look over these things with a fine-tooth comb. And it's not always about just like spending the money willy-nilly. It is looking at your investments also, and what your resources are connected with other people, to decide, how do I move forward with this? Then on July 5th, we have a new moon. I absolutely love this new moon because it's a new moon in Cancer, and it's in your 1st house of self. It is all about you and something new and fresh, and with a new identity, how you're going to be known. Like, what do you want to be known as? I always say that the 1st house represents like your business card or your website. This is a clean slate. This is a brand new beginning of your appearance, your vitality, your strength, emphasizing around home and security, and setting intentions in order to nurture relationships, creating a safe environment, addressing any personal security that you have with yourself and with family members or people that you feel like are family members. Then as we move forward, I want to talk about July 10th. Now, the sun, still in your first house of self, still is focused on what are your wants, your needs, your desires, this new intentions that you have set out there. It is now trining Saturn in Pisces, but Saturn is stationed retrograde. Saturn is the planet of restriction, and it is the planet of time and doing things right. It's authority figures in the sign of Pisces. The ninth house is taking a class or workshops or legal matters. And so a trine says, these are my new moon intentions. This is what I want to start for myself. These are my new beginnings. And Saturn is saying, go within. You have everything that you need right now. You don't need to take another class. You don't need to take another workshop. Pull upon your strengths of things that you already have these healthy boundaries. And because when you come out of it, this is going to support the new moon intention, the new growth of you to move forward. So on July 11th, we're going to have Venus now entering into the sign of Leo. So it's the second sign to shift into your resource sector. Venus is who we love, how we love, what do I need in order to feel secure? These are your actual possessions. This could be your money, your skill set, your movable property. The second house is your spending goals, your sensual pleasures. The second house has to do with your mental, emotional, spiritual resources also. It's not all the tangible things that you can touch, but this is your value system. And when Venus moves into the sign of Leo, Leo is you and wanting things of creature comforts around you. Having Venus entering into Leo, it's how do I express love and affection? What makes me feel affectionate? What makes me feel romantic? What makes me feel comfortable and happy and joyful? And I want to enjoy life's pleasures. And what does that look like? Wanting to surround yourself or purchase things or buy things that make you feel loved or that remind you of something that makes you feel comfortable or secure. Then as we move forward, July 15th. Now, this is a hot date, a really big date. I want you to mark it on your calendar, circle it in red because it's not a fun time. Mars is going to merge its energies with Uranus in your 11th house. Mars is fire, passion, drive, aggression. Uranus is shock, electric. It is an earthquake. It is about freedom and liberation. Taurus represents your home, food, your resources. Your 11th house are your friends, your social circles, your networks, your goals. All of that is exploding. There could be a person in your social network. There could be you not fitting in with it or not feeling comfortable with something that somebody says. There could be somebody that you've aligned yourself with that it's not what you thought it was going to be. This has to do with your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, and some things are being shattered. It'll be a difficult, but think of it as a freedom and liberation that will come from this. It's uncomfortable. It's just definitely uncomfortable because Mars rules your 10th house. So we know that this has to do with your career, your job, your reputation, you being seen in the outside world. And Uranus rules your 8th house of your shared resources. So this could have to do with your investments or things that are tied up or linked with other people. Then as we move through, I want to talk about the 16th. On July 16th, Mercury is going to enter its shadow. Start paying attention to what's going on in your life that has to do with your possessions, your money, your work ethic, your self-esteem, your personal belongings. Make sure you're paying attention to your your mental resources, your spiritual resources. This is everything that you need. Mercury, this is going to now enter the shadow period. It's going to move forward, But this area of your chart that it's going to move forward, this is also where Mercury is going to station retrograde. So whatever you're doing at this time, know that you will eventually come back to, rethink, review, reevaluate, resell, reestablish, it'll be all the words that you're going to be doing. So make a note around this date. And then I want to move forward to July 20th. So on July 20th, we're going to have Mars now entering Gemini. Mars, fire, passion, drive. This is going within. This is connecting you with your divinity. This is you doing the inner work, healing, renewing. The 12th house is where we go to sit, to be alone, to connect with our divine, God, Goddess, Yahweh, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in. Jupiter is in your 12th house of how do I heal these karmic debts? How do I tap into my spirit guides? How do I tap into my dreams, my intuition? How do I tap into and do the shamanic work? How do I accept solitude in order to transcend, to experience this inner healing, to come out renewed? And so Mars is going to be here allowing you to be able to cut through whatever it is that's holding you back. And Mars and Gemini, like thoughts, ideas, the broken record going on in your head. It can also be getting rid of not just self-sabotage, but the 12th house is hidden enemies. And if they're not there to support you, they need to be cut away. So that could definitely be that. And then on the 21st, we're going to have the second full moon in Capricorn. So it will be a full blue moon. So we have the sun still in your first house. It'll be at 29 degrees. And like those are the anaretic degrees. It's like leaving the last stage, something big happening. And then you're going to have a full moon at the last degrees of Capricorn in your 7th house of partnership. So full moons always result in endings or some things that are being revealed. So it has to do with partnership. This could be with a client, a best friend, a significant other. So there was a full moon in June that brought about some endings and some closures, or it revealed some things of where you have to move forward in order to finish with the endings. So with this full moon, it'll be an opportunity for you to say, I need to align with these areas where I need to focus on a 1, a 5, or a 10-year plan with either clients or partnerships, or who am I with others. The 7th house is your 1+1, you with others, like who is going and what is being revealed. It's not necessarily about employment or money. This could have to do with clients, or again, this could be a best friend moving away. This could be ending a relationship with a partner. You don't have to be working in order to have this plan. This could be a relationship issue. As we move to July 21st, we're going to have now Mercury in Leo. So there's a lot going on with this. We're going to have Mercury in Leo, the way that you communicate, things that have to do with your personal resources, your skill set, your money, your property. Mercury in Leo is now going to square Uranus and Taurus. Remember, squares are difficult tension points and Uranus wants freedom and liberation, but it's in Taurus of what do I own? Home, property, food, those things with my dreams, my goals, my hopes, my wishes, my networks. And so with this square, there is something going on that will push an uncomfortable transition. Things that are working with it is the sun in Cancer. The sun in Cancer with your first house, like being very intuitive, knowing that I have to do this, is trining Neptune at 29 degrees. It's an anaretic degree. Anything at 29 is a final. It's an ending. And so we know that something with you and something with your 11th house your 9th house of legal matters or education or other people, like wanting to travel, wanting to get there. There's this trine of, this is what I have to do in order to get this, or let's remember that I was like the memories that I have from this. Neptune is stationed retrograde, so this will be foggy and unclear, and having to tune into your intuition about, what do I do about this? How do I solve this? It has everything to do with you. It has to do with where you've been. This has to do with legal things. And we also have Mars in your 12th house, trining Pluto in Aquarius. So we know that this also has to do with cutting away of something that has to do with shared resources. I'm going to pay off this debt. I'm going to get out of this contract. I'm going to get out of this. Pluto in Aquarius is the transformation of your resources that are tied up with other people. It's other people's money, values. It has to do with wills, taxes, inheritances. It's private affairs, insurance. The 8th house with Pluto here could also have to do with the people that we share these deep connections with. It doesn't have to do with just a business partner, significant other. It can be like a family member, because it's the house of deep psychological connections that we have with other people. And so knowing that there could be somebody who has left, or somebody who has gone, and or the removal of, or the paying off of. And so all of this is assisting you with this uncomfortable square of what is yours and what's going away. Something that has to do with your resources or your security, basically how you support yourself. Something is going to shift and change with that. Then as we move to July 22nd, the sun is now going to enter into Leo. So the sun will be the last one to leave your first house and move into your second house, because your skill set, your money is like the focus for the rest of this month. So now the sun coming into focus is now saying, I get this. My movable property, my values, my opinions, my income. And the first thing it does is it opposes Pluto. We're back to that opposition. Pluto always says, what are you going to give up? What are you going to give up to think about others? And the sun in Leo is, I don't want to give it up. I don't want to have to do this. This could be a power struggle with what is yours, what is theirs. There has to be we meet in the middle. This could be one trying to control the other. This could be a business partner trying to control. This could be insurance trying to control what you're doing. This could be where your money's invested with a control issue. But there's definitely some power struggle going on between what is personally yours and what is personally, or what you have invested with other people or in other investments. And it's an opportunity for truly a deep psychological healing and transformation from something that has happened. All right, then we move to July 25th. And on the 25th, we now have Mercury entering into Virgo. When Mercury moves into Virgo, and it loves to be here, Mercury does very well with communicating. So we know that some of the communication, because it's Virgo-like, is self-care, mental, physical, spiritual self-care. And the third house is, how do I communicate this? Do I write it? Do I journal it? Do I share it with my neighbors, siblings, cousins? Like, who am I sharing my thoughts, my ideas? What am I sharing? Am I blogging about it? The third house is all types of communication. It's where we connect with other people, and it's language and conversation. It's building of relationships. And so we know that there's going to be some type of new building of relationships, but know that this is also the area that Mercury is going to station retrograde. So it's you moving forward, knowing that you're going to be reviewing, rethinking, revising soon with your resources. And then the last is on the 26th. So on July 26th, we're going to have Chiron stationing retrograde. Chiron is our personal wound. Chiron is at the top of your chart. in your career sector, your reputation, you being seen by others. The 10th house is like you at the top of the building. It is your life path where you want to make your mark on society, people seeing you as an authority figure, your ambitions, your personal goals, your success. It's also your responsibilities. Chiron in retrograde in Aries is your wound of how you feel about this, how you have been wounded, how do you work through this? How are you healing? How are you working through? As a Cancer, everything you take is within your feelings, your intuition, your dreams. And having Aries at the top means you have to initiate it. It's in a square to your first house of self, knowing that you need to be the one to move forward with your goals, with everything that you want to achieve. You have the North Node here. You know that the universe is pushing you in this direction, but it's also, I have to take care of and heal myself. And how can I take my healing journey, learn from it, and possibly share it with other people? So Cancer, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Leo, Sun, and Leo rising, I want to start with July 2nd. So on July 2nd, we're going to have Neptune stationing retrograde. Neptune is in your 8th house of your resources shared with other people. It's in the watery sign of Pisces. So it means that the communication of where you are linked with other people or where your resources are linked with other people, it can bring this foggy energy. The 8th house represents your cash, your property, your resources, like alimony, debt. The 8th house represents topics of where we have these deep connections with people that could include obligations or taxes, or it's your private affairs. And so discussing privately taboo topics, and it's bringing this foggy energy. For this, this is going to prompt you during this retrograde time to work harder to stay grounded. This period is excellent for honing your intuition. What does your gut say? Where should you be moving towards? What is the other person saying or exhibiting? And having to use your imagination to truly work through these karmic issues, because the 8th house is the deep psychological birth, death, rebirth, transformation house. Next, I want to talk about July 3rd. So on July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury enter into Leo. Now, this is important because this is all about you, your first house of self. As a Leo, it's being seen, being heard, finding your voice, and Mercury stepping into the sign of your first house of your personality, your identity, your appearance. This is, what do I want to start? What do I want to do? Now, along with this, when Mercury moves into this house, it's you trying to voice your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions of things that you want to. I always say it's your business card or your website. It's about you and what you're presenting to the world. The difficulty that comes with this transit is the opposition to Pluto in your partnership sector. So the first house is about you. The 7th house is you with somebody else, business partner, best friend, significant other, clients, open enemies, and exes. So when you add in Mercury opposing Pluto, Pluto wants to transform. It represents power struggles. It represents birth, death, rebirth, the transformation of, and the focus on everybody, not just yourself. Because Mercury in Leo is all about you. Pluto in Aquarius is think about everybody else. What are you saying? Does this make sense? And so there can be these power struggles that can go on about what you're saying and how it's being interpreted. Then as we move forward to July 5th, so on July 5th, we're now going to have this beautiful new moon. It's in the sign of Cancer, which is in your 12th house. So the 12th house is you starting something new that you're working on within. It's an opportunity to tap into your personal unconscious. The 12th house is our karmic debts. It is our intuition. It's our connection to spirit, God, Yahweh, Allah, Goddess, Buddha, whatever you call your higher divine. And it's an opportunity to start something new that's brings you back to home. So this could be, I want to understand my lineage, doing a past life regression, tapping into the Akashic records. It's perfect for meditating and yoga, and tapping into needing to be stable and be grounded. This is about your emotional, physical, spiritual health and well-being, and making sure that you're setting aside enough time for that, and setting the new moon intention to create a safe environment for you to be your authentic divine self, and to address any personal security issues that can come up with other people of your sacred space, making sure that you have your sacred space. Then as we move forward to July 10th, so we are going to have the Sun in Cancer, and it's going to be trine Saturn in Pisces. So we know that you've started something new. So whenever we have this new moon, we know that the theme continues. So we have the Sun in Cancer, and now it's trining Saturn in Pisces. So we're looking at things that you do privately, things that you're doing in the shadow or in the dark, doing your shadow work, and it's trining Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is stationing retrograde, meaning you are doing the inner work when it comes to deep psychological, this could be trauma, this could be your connection with other people. How are you getting rid of, or how are you dealing with the 12th house can be secrets, and so this could be scandal or things coming to the surface. A trine is a harmonious aspect. So at this time, Saturn wants healthy boundaries. In the sign of Pisces is my intuition, my dreams, bringing me closer to my connection to other people. And what are you doing to heal and renew yourself? Then on the very next day, we're going to have Venus entering the sign of Leo. So now we have, remember, all of the energy that we started off the month with was Cancer, you being isolated, you being alone, you working through some things where it's been very private for you. And now one by one, all of the planets are going to start to move into your first house of self. So I love that Venus is coming here, because Venus is how I express love. It's beauty. It's attracting. It's you being attracted to people. The first house is your self-expression. And so your desires, your interests, it's bringing beauty to things that you love and things that you value. Again, every time something comes into your first house, know that it will oppose Pluto partnership. And so this is going to be this easy time for you to know who you are, to feel good about yourself, and to express your love and affection for others, and to share and want to give easily to partnerships, relationships, best friends, significant others. There might be some opposition to it that you have to work out this energy, but it's you enjoying life's pleasures and wanting to offer them to other people, and not wanting to have the power struggle. It's let's unite, let's bring together. Then we move forward to July 15th. So on July 15th, this is probably a date that you should put a little red circle around on your calendar. Mars is going to meet up in the sky and work its magic with Uranus. Uranus is shock, surprise, freedom, liberation, and buck the system. And Mars is your passions, your desires, wanting to do things, wanting to have it your way. The two of these planets clashing together in Taurus. Taurus means that the clash will occur with things that you value. Taurus represents our home, our money, our resources, things that I'm slow and steady to move forward and change. And this happens to be in your career sector of your life, your career, your job, your reputation, your legacy. It's where you want to make your mark on society. And so this could be other people saying things, doing things. This is not a positive. This is a very difficult transit of chaos, of bringing about energy that is filled with a change, like a change is coming. And so powerful motivation to disrupt, liberate, and make things happen, and basically liberate you from what's going on. And it may not be by your choice. There could be like an authority figure that comes in and totally changes the direction of where you thought you were going with a career or a job, or questions your reputation. So then on July 16th, the very next day, we're going to have Mercury enter shadow. So this is important because Mercury is going to enter its shadow at or around 21 degrees in the sign of Leo. So this is your first house of self. So know that your thoughts, your ideas, things that you're communicating, things that you have started up to this point, Mercury is now going to say, I'm going to slow down, and everything from this point on with communication and travel, things that you're launching, things that you're doing, this could be with AI, phone, email, text, all types of communication that comes from you that represents, like, this could be your business card or your website or things that you are showing the world. So your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok, knowing that Mercury is going to now meet its shadow, and it's going to come back to this point when it starts its retrograde. So notice things that are happening now as it moves forward that includes topics that have to do with your personal resources, and that has to do with your goals and your dreams and the networks of people that you interact with. Then we move forward to July 20th. So on July 20th, we're now going to have Mars enter into the sign of Gemini. Now, Mars is now leaving your career sector, and it's now going to be moving into your networking sector. Thoughts, ideas, communication, using science, technology, AI. It's joining Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be in your sector of life where this is where I connect with other people that are my kindred spirits. This is where I connect for my humanitarian efforts of where I want to volunteer, my community. These are people or networks of, this is like, let's say that you want to be a yoga instructor. This is where you would meet up with others or study that or connect with other networks to help get you where you want to be. It's like a book club. This is also people that you work with, like work associates. It's teams or peers or shared creativity. Now, Mars moving into Gemini means I'm multitasking. I'm starting this up. I'm going after this. This is in a sextile to your north node, the direction of my connection to others that are related to religion, my philosophies, my beliefs, teaching a class, taking a class. The connection here says, this is what I have to have in order to move forward. So is it taking a class? Is it taking a workshop? Is it wanting to travel or understand this? That's what you are going to be initiating. And who are you connecting with in order to make this happen? Then on the very next day, on the 21st, you're going to have the second full moon in Capricorn. So it'll be at 29 degrees, which we know is an anaretic degree. So the sun being in your 12th house of my inner world, my connection to spirit, my where I go to withdrawal, it's the house of taking care of my needs and not always sharing those publicly with others. The full moon is going to occur. I want you to think back, what did the full moon illuminate and bring you culminations of in June? Because now we're going to have the second of, and it's a blue full moon in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is authority. It's about picking the right mountain, picking the right goals, reaching those goals. How do I attain this? During a Capricorn full moon, we look at our work situation. And for you, this is in your health sector. This is balancing home and work in your life and saying, how do I take care of myself, my mind, my body, my spirit? Am I meditating? Am I into yoga, nutrition, supplements, the chiropractor, anything that would be alternative? Am I meeting these goals? And how can I now be of service to others by what I'm learning and what I'm gaining? The second full moon usually says, I need to work on a plan that includes a 1 or a 5 or a 10-year goal. And what are these minor increments that I can go to get there? Usually during a full moon in Capricorn, it reveals some other holes of some things. And then it gives us this opportunity to say, oh, I still need to complete this. This is what I have to do in order to get there. I need to have mini goals in order to get there. Then on the 21st, we're going to have Mercury in Leo. It's a big day because this is your first house of self. Mercury in Leo, and it's going to square the Uranus in Taurus. Square Uranus in Taurus. Now, know that we had this conjunction that shook up your career sector or your reputation or the legacy that you want to leave behind. This day, actually, it's the days that lead up to it, and then this is where it'll culminate. Mercury in your first house, knowing that you're going to retrograde over top of this, knowing you're going to go back to some of these topics, is in a square aspect to Uranus. Square aspects are 90-degree angles where we have to integrate it. It's a uncomfortable disruption that says, hey, pay attention to this. Something that has to do with you, the way that you're communicating, and with your job or your reputation. Along with this, we're going to also have the sun in your 12th house, your intuition, paying attention to what does your gut say, in a trine with Neptune. Now, the sun in your 12th house is hidden enemies, and it is also where we have that broken record, and we talk negatively to ourselves. And it's, how do I get rid of this? I need to pay attention to what spirit is saying or what my gut instinct is saying. And Neptune has you going back and withdrawing and paying attention to your intuition. I'm not seeing things clearly, but the vibration or the energy tells me the direction of what's going on with these people or what's happening right now. Not only that, you also have Mars in Gemini. So this has to do with your networks, your goals, where you want to move forward to, is in a trine with Pluto in Aquarius. So we have Neptune in a trine with Pluto, partnership, open enemies, significant others, friendships, love, contractual agreements. Mars is saying, I need to go after this. This is the group. This is the network. I need to either cut this. What does my intuition say? Pluto is saying that there has to be some kind of transformation. We can't move forward unless you transform. So this all goes back to you, with all of this happening leading up to this day, and then knowing that whatever you're starting here, you're going to go back and rethink it and review it during the Mercury retrograde. So I need to move forward, I need to start the ball rolling, and then I'll come back and I'll fix anything else that needs to be fixed. Then the very next day, we're going to have the sun entering Leo. So sun in your first house of self. Yay, all about you. This is about beautiful energy with being the center of attention and wanting more fun and joy and pleasure in your life. Getting out of the shadows, because the 12th house is where we go within, and now getting out there and sharing with everybody else of, look, let's play, let's be creative, let's do these things, let me launch this. Now the opposition comes to Pluto. Remember, anything that comes into your first house first has to move past Pluto, your partnership sector, your 1+1 house. The sun in your first house opposing Pluto gives this, I want to start something. This is my self-expression. And Pluto is saying, there's this ego battle between you and your +1. This can be an open enemy. This can be with clients. This can be best friends, significant others. This could be with contractual agreements or contracts that you're writing. There could be ego battles going on that revolve around control, because Pluto likes to have control. And so this could be about your leadership or things that you are saying or bringing and sharing with other people. So it'll be a time of tapping into your inner strength and testing out where, like, how much do I share? What do I share? Do I have to listen to what this person has to say? And I want to let my light shine. Then as we move forward to the 25th, so on July 25th, we are now moving into Mercury entering into Virgo. So now we're taking the things that you started in your first house, projects, ideas, website, business card, your self-interest, things that you wanted to launch, things that you wanted to do, sharing about yourself. And now Mercury is moving into your second house of your self-worth, your cash, your property, your resources. I want to start something that will reflect my values, my opinions, to increase my salary. The second house also represents your mental, emotional, spiritual resources in the sign of Virgo, is taking care of self or self-care practices, mental, physical health and well-being. Now Mercury going in here, now know that the way that you're going to be communicating is going to be more about what do I need to do to ensure my security, my self-worth, my feeling comfortable. Then on the next day, we have July 26th with Chiron stationing retrograde in the sign of Aries. So Chiron being our personal wound, Aries being about you, your head, your thoughts, your ideas, in the ninth house of taking a class, taking a workshop, traveling, connecting with others, having these cross-cultural experiences. Chiron being my wound, how have I been wounded? Or where do I feel my self-worth being wounded? This is in a trine to your first house, so we know that this will reflect topics that could revolve around your beauty, your career, your life path, of where do you want to go, what do you want to do, something maybe that you've launched. The ninth house has to do with education and religion and topics of learning and studying, and maybe having to go back and figure out, where did that wound come from? Where did that feeling come from? As an opportunity to heal yourself. Aries energy is, I am the warrior. I need to look at the wound and say, yeah, this is where I felt the pain, and this is now how I need to move forward and heal it, so I can look at this as a lesson in disguise of moving me closer to where I need to be to evolve and grow. So Leo, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Virgo Sun and Virgo Rising, I want to start off with July 2nd. So on July 2nd, you're going to have Neptune station retrograde. Now, Neptune is in your 7th house of your partnership. I call it the +1 house. This is love, contractual agreements, best friends, significant others, clients, one-on-one relationships, open enemies, exes, all of those topics. Neptune stationing retrograde here is going to give you this opportunity to say, I'm not seeing things clearly. They're foggy, and now I have to work really hard to stay grounded, and I have to tune into, what does my intuition say? What does my gut say? I have to use my imagination, and I need to look at this as an opportunity to work through some karmic issues between me and my relationship with others. This is all about you and your... This could have to do with love and trust and connection. Then as we move forward to July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury enter into the sign of Leo. Now, Mercury is your chart ruler. So wherever Mercury is, we need to follow it around to see what is going on with you and your career, because it rolls over 2 houses in your chart. So now we have Mercury entering into your 12th house. The 12th house is the hidden house. It's your shadow self. It's hidden enemies. It's also where we have self-doubt. It's where we go to withdrawal. But Mercury here is going to bring about topics of connecting to source, connecting to divine, tapping into the dream realm, yoga, meditation, the Akashic records, astral travel, astral projection. Mercury here is connecting to the spiritual realm in order to heal and renew. It's a way to communicate, and knowing that I need to take time out for myself to heal and renew as I move forward. Mercury moving through here is going to bring the attention on Leo, like energy of who you are, your like inner voice. And so it's more than just you with somebody else. It's you with yourself and your past, and anything that has to do with your private inner world, in order to release self-sabotage and self-undoing behaviors. Then as we move forward to July 5th, we're going to have a beautiful new moon in the sign of Cancer. I absolutely love this for you because it's a new moon starting something with a fresh slate, a clean slate, a new beginnings, planting the seeds of something that's very grounded, that is near and dear to your heart, that is, no, these are my hopes. These are my dreams. These are the people that I need to connect up with. This is like my spiritual family. The 11th house represents who you are connected to with either kindred spirits or your star family or friendship or humanitarian efforts, collective activities of this makes me feel good to give to you, or this makes me feel really comfortable, like this is the group, this is where I belong. And so starting something new here, it's going to be a time for you to set these intentions, to nurture these relationships, this communication, that you are within a safe environment to share your thoughts and ideas with. And then on July 10th, we're going to have the sun in Cancer. And so we know that you've had this new moon intention. So now we have the sun in Cancer, still focused on these topics, trining Saturn and Pisces. So a trine is a harmonious aspect linking these two planets together for what they want to accomplish. So Saturn in Pisces is currently retrograde. So it's going within with these healthy boundaries, with partnerships, relationships, clients, one-on-one, anything that has to do with you with business or you with friendship. The 7th house also represents open enemies and exes. And so we know that it's about conflict, how you deal with it, legal matters, public enemies, trust and connection. And since this is a harmonious aspect, this is moving forward. I'm creating relationships with healthy boundaries and following my intuition of where does it guide me. Then I want to talk about July 11th. So July 11th, Venus is now going to enter into the sign of Leo. So we had the whole focus of the first half of the month on you and networking and your dreams and what you want to do. And now, one by one, the planets are going to shift into your 12th house. Now, the 12th house is where we do the shamanic work, where we do the work privately that other people do not see. Venus is the goddess of love, and she wants to bring people, places, and things together. She wants to network and bring love and beauty and money and resources. She wants to make it easier to express love and affection. But know that every time something comes into your 12th house, it's an opportunity for you to have this opposition to Pluto in your 6th house of your daily habits. Pluto is the planet that requires some kind of death in order to have a transformation. It says, in order to improve, you have to grow, change, and evolve. And it's stationing retrograde in your house of your service to yourself first, your daily habits, your mental, physical health, well-being. The 6th house is your workplace, but it's finding a balance between home and work. And it's taking care of yourself. It represents diet, nutrition, and using alternative health and well-being activities in order to take care of yourself. yourself, knowing that Venus is now going to be coming into your 12th house. Opposing this is saying, I need to stop. I need to slow down. I need to take care of me. I need to schedule. I need to schedule that massage. I need to go to that retreat. I need to go to that drum festival. I need to do something that fills up my soul. I might want to do a past life regression. I need to meditate more. I need to like sit on some things and look at where have I worked myself too hard, and I need to release these karmic debts of always being on the wheel. I need an opportunity to set aside time so I can heal and renew my heart and my soul in order to move forward. And then the next date I want to bring your attention to, and I really hope you circle it, is going to be July 15th. It's really important. This is going to be a Uranus-Mars conjunction. This is a very difficult date. It will be the dates leading up to it, and it will be that day, and then it will be waning afterwards. So Mars is going to be conjunct Uranus. Mars is the warrior. Mars is fierce and has a sword and wants to cut through things and move forward with its agenda. And Uranus is the great liberator, shock and surprise, upsetting things. It wants to it's electric, or it's earthquakes. In the sign of Taurus, your resources, your money, your resources, your cash, your food, your home, in your 9th house, bringing in topics of classes and workshops and things that you've published, or where do I want to go and travel. The 9th house represents higher education, and it also represents your access to wisdom and learning. It's your ideals, it's your beliefs, it's law and legal matters. And so all of these topics, there can be this disruptive wanting to take away from you, and what can you lose from this. And it's in a trine to your 1st house of self, meaning you need to go through this, but you also need to focus on how will this transform who you are becoming and your connections to others, because it's in the house of cross-cultural experiences. So this could really shift and change where your career, where your job, or where you want a vacation, or what you want to learn. It could really radically shift your belief system. And then, okay, let's talk about this. Next, on July 16th, Mercury is now going to enter its shadow. So Mercury being your chart ruler, the shadow period means that now anything that happens for the next 2 weeks moving forward, and as Mercury moves into your 1st house, that this is where Mercury will station retrograde. So when Mercury stations retrograde, first it goes over an area that says we need to review, rethink, revise, and then it goes back and says let's do this. And then there's this clean sweep of now you know what needs to be adjusted, let's move forward. Whenever a planet stations retrograde, it's really a time of readjusting so we can acclimate before we move forward. So Mercury being your chart ruler in your 12th house of how do I heal myself? How do I renew? How do I get rid of karmic debts? How do I stop the broken record of my self-worth? This is also the house of scandal. It's the house of spiritual retreats. It's your inner world of where we connect to inner dimensions. And it's also the house of like hidden enemies, of revealing who's your real tribe. So knowing that Mercury is going to be entering the shadow at this time, look to what do I have at 21 degrees and look to pay attention to what happens as you move forward. Then on July 20th, we're going to have Mars enter into Gemini. All of the planets, okay, so you have Jupiter there, Jupiter in your career sector for the next year. Now that we have Mars there, Mars is really firing things up. Gemini is 2 different things, thoughts, ideas. How do I use AI? How can I speed things up? It's impulsive in Gemini. And so Mars is, let's cut to the chase. Let's get this done. Let's get this done. It is fiery, it's drive, it's passion, and it's you saying, let's get this done. Then on July 21st, we're going to have the second full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So the sun is still in your 11th house, and it's focusing in on who you're networking with, your dreams, your goals. And then as it illuminates the Capricorn full moon one more time, the second full moon will be at 29 degrees, which is an anaretic degree of a final ending. So it'll be a blue moon. So think back to what was the full moon illuminating in June for you. It represents things that have to do with job, career, authority, goals, things that you have set. And then there was this ending of sorts. Now, the ending could have had to do with something with your children, like them moving out, them graduating, them getting married, your child doing something. Or this could have to do with you and something that you've started. This could be a love affair. This could be something that you've gambled on, where you've taken a risk. This is also the house of creativity, of art and music and starting a project. And there could have been a project that has ended. And if that has not completely ended with the first full moon, now the second one, the first one shows you the area of your life of what is coming to a climax or what is coming to an end. The second one is, now let's move forward. Let's evaluate our work situation. I now need to have a 1, 5, or 10-year plan. I need to have some goals in order to get me where I want to be. It is really close conjunct like Pluto, so we know that there's going to be this deep transformation of where you were and where you're moving forward. Also, on July 21st, I want to talk about a couple of things that are going to be happening. So we're going to have Mercury in Leo. Mercury, remember, your chart ruler, the way that you communicate. Mercury in your 12th house of self-sabotage. And I'm bringing up the negative here because this is going to be a square. This is hidden enemies or secrets. It's things that you do privately. Mercury is going to square Uranus. So a square is something that has to be integrated. It is tension points. Uranus in your 9th house. Remember that Mars was just conjunct with it. So there was something that was freedom and liberation. And Uranus is about, I want to publish this. I want to connect up with these people. I want to travel there. I want to study this religion, this philosophy, this belief. I want to teach this class. I want to teach this workshop. This is a square. Something has to be integrated in order to manifest this. Now, what's going to support this is the sun in your partnership of connection with others, not like with a business partner, significant other. It's your group affiliations that have to do with networking. So we have the sun at an anaretic degree of 29 saying, I'm going to support you. I'm going to boost your energy to move you towards what are your goals. The sun in Cancer is trying to Neptune in your partnership sector. Now we're going to bring in your business partner, your significant other, clients, your one-on-one relationships. Because this is a trine and they're both at 29 degrees, it's both saying, let's make this a big push in the right direction. Neptune is currently retrograde, so I have to use my intuition. I have to go within and follow what does my gut instinct say, and I have to be able to clear out the fog. This could also have to do with clients, and it's the 7th house is love and contractual agreements, and it represents exes, and it represents trust and connection. It also has a trine with Mars, so we know that this career related or relationship related with this could be authority figures or things that you want to start and do. Mars is trining Pluto in Aquarius, both at 0, starting something new. Pluto is stationing retrograde, saying something has to change. We can't move forward with this. In your daily, in your daily, how do I take care of myself, self-care sector? It's alternative, think outside the box. I need to be able to transform this. I have to be able to reinvent myself. I have to focus on what brings me joy and pleasure. And Mars, in a trine to this, it's all about thoughts, ideas, thinking about the big picture, thinking about my networking skills, thinking about all of this bringing together, pushing you past this uncomfortable of what is transforming with you. All right, then on July 22nd, so on July 22nd, the sun is going to enter into the sign of Leo. And yay, this is now bringing all of the Cancer energy of watery and intuitive into this fire, passionate drive. Like let's bring the energy on of fun and joy and play and having your voice be heard. But you are doing this inwardly, quietly, privately, not sharing this with the whole wide world. Like the sun entering into Leo, knowing that anything that comes into your 12th house is first going to oppose Pluto. I have to transform. I need to sit. I need to meditate. I need to go within. Who am I? How am I changing? How am I evolving? I need to get rid of this karma. I need to get rid of anything that is negative in my life. I need to shed some things here. The 12th house can be the house of fear. It's our personal unconscious. It's where we go to withdrawal, but it's also mystical experiences. It's where I connect and tap into source or the divine, God, Goddess, Yahweh, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is, you saying, I need to tap in. What makes me feel connected? Pluto is saying, are you running a rat race? Like, are you always on the go? Are you always trying to take care of others? You need to take care and nurture yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit. Make some time for play. And whether it be private or in small groups, make some time to connect and regenerate, heal yourself. All right, this can also be about like ego battles. So I'm bringing that into here because Pluto is the balance, is in the house of balancing home and work. And so where does your ego come in here? And how do I, not just only ego, but it could be a power trip. It could be someone of power. The 6th house represents where we seek out guidance or support from others and them maybe telling you what you need to do, and you're going to have to struggle and say, do I listen or do I follow my inner self? Okay, so then as we move forward to July 25th, so on this day, Mercury is now going to enter your first house of self. Mercury loves being here because now it's moving to all about you. I need to be able to communicate my skills of what I have learned, my thoughts, my ideas, my feeling. I can now, I can now move forward with what I have thought, my beliefs. Mercury moving forward in your first house is a shift in your identity. It's a shift in the way that you are going to communicate what you have just grown through. So growing through or transforming through your 12th house. Now, remember, Mercury's not done here because Mercury's going to station retrograde. So whatever you're doing here, knowing that Mercury is going to station retrograde in a couple of weeks, so in August, and as it goes backward, you will then say, oh, I need to review this, rethink this. It'll have something to do with yourself, like a going back of sorts, of looking at how you present yourself to the world. So know moving forward that this is about me, my desires, my habits, my appearance, me being seen, my interests, things that I want to launch, things that I want to start, my business, like a business card, your website. But know when Mercury stations retrograde, it will go back over this area of your life and then dip into your 12th house. And then the last thing is on July 26th, Chiron is going to station retrograde in the sign of Aries. Now, Chiron Chiron is in your 8th house of your shared resources. So we look at Chiron as our wound. In the sign of Aries is the person, the head, our mind. In the 8th house of my resources or my connections that I share with other people. It is in your 8th house of deep psychological birth, death, and rebirth, a transformation. So this could be trust. This could be with a business partner, with a significant other. This is where have you been wounded with trusting too much, connecting with others. The 12th it brings in the some of your 12th house themes of the affliction of, but the 8th house offers ethics and our morals of, I want to have this deep bonding experience with someone. And these could be taboo topics. And where have I been hurt? Where has my trust been wounded? And now I have this opportunity to look at this. And it's a deep psychological birth, death, rebirth transformation of. So Virgo, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Libra and Libra rising, I want to start the month off with July 2nd. And on July 2nd, you're going to have Neptune stationing retrograde. So Neptune is currently in your 6th house. This is the house of your daily habits, taking care of yourself. And this is an opportunity for you to go inward. Neptune is about connecting to spirituality. It's like being at one with the universe. In your 6th house is wanting to be of service to others, but it's also self-care. And so Neptune retrograde, things are a little bit foggy energy, just tired and lethargic, prompting you to say, I have to work harder and I have to stay grounded. I have to make sure that I'm taking time out for my mental, physical health, well-being. I need to make sure I'm taking my vitamins, going for that walk. There's going to be a really good time for honing your intuition about what does your body need and moving towards that. This is a perfect opportunity to work through and like use your imagination with, maybe I don't go for the run, maybe I just go for a walk. All right, then I want to look at July 3rd. So on July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury enter into Leo. Now, Mercury is thoughts, ideas, communication, and travel, and it's now going to be leaving your career sector and moving into your 11th house. Now, we start off the month with a lot of energy focused on your job, your career, your reputation. As we move through the month, we have Mercury taking thoughts, ideas, communication, travel, moving it towards, these are my goals, this is who I need to network with, wanting things to be like, let's fire it up. Let's make this happen. Your 11th house represents your shared creativity or your social circles or your networks. It's the people that you gather with community in order to help the collective, or where you want to spend some of your time, like I want to join a book club, or I want to join this organization, or it's like your star family. Then on July 5th, we have a new moon in the sign of Cancer. This is again at the top of your chart with your career, your job, your reputation, your ambitions. You setting the tone for, this is what I want to do to move forward. I want to feel connected with the people that I share space with. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's our intuition, it's our feelings, and it's wanting to have a comfortable, safe workplace environment. And so it'll emphasize your emotional well-being, about bringing peace and harmony and connectiveness with other people, either through your job or you being seen as an authority figure who is sharing that, creating like a safe, warm, welcoming environment, and addressing all topics that have to deal with security. And so knowing that whatever you're doing for your personal ambitions or your goals or your reputation, take into effect like topics that have to revolve around security. So this could be with the internet, or with phone or access to other people. Again, it's at the top of your chart. So it's you being seen as an authority figure and things that you want to achieve with your professional life, but needing a barrier between home and work life. Then on July 10th, we're going to move into a period of the sun in Cancer. So you've set your new moon intention, and now it's time to move forward with it. So we have the sun in Cancer, still focusing on what you want to do, what your ambitions, your professional life, things that you want to achieve. And this is in a harmonious aspect with Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in your 6th house of your daily work, your daily habits. Saturn is the planet of restrictions, and it is currently stationed retrograde, going backwards in the sign of Pisces. Is I need to use my intuition. I need to have these healthy boundaries of moving forward in order to care and nurture for myself on a daily basis. What does this mean? It's in a trine, which means it's this harmonious aspect of these two areas of your life, finding a balance between your work and your home. And then I want to talk about moving forward with July 11th. Now, on July 11th, we're going to have Venus now entering Leo. Knowing that every time something enters into your 11th house, enters into the fiery sign of Leo, that it has to first oppose Pluto. So you have Venus, who you love, what you love, your material possessions. Venus wants to bring people together. And this is in this networking sector, your friendships. It's people that you are connected to, that you have these shared beliefs. What it's going to happen is it's first going to oppose Pluto. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation in your 5th house of creativity, children, or the house where we want to take a risk. And it's thinking about the collective, and Leo thinks about itself. So I love that it's moving into Leo. The difficulty that comes with this is there could be power struggles that go on between these dynamics of you wanting to express love and affection and connecting people, places, and things. And this transit is saying, yes, do that, but the push and pull might be between something that has to do with you and children, something that has to do with you and your creativity, creative projects with art or music. The 5th house also represents not just recreation and joy, but it represents investments. And so where you are invested, either with people, places, or things. And then on July 15th, we're going to have a tense aspect. I would think that you would want to circle this in red and put it on a calendar to remember, it's going to be the days that lead up to this and the days that come after this. Mars is the planet of fire and aggression and drive and going after things. Uranus is the great liberator. It's disruption. It's chaos. Uranus can be electric, and it can be like fire and clashing of these two together with Taurus themes. Taurus represents your home, your money, your food, your resources. This happens to be taking place in your shared resources sector. So all topics that revolve around debts, your resources that are tied up with business partners, significant others, exes. This could be like with alimony and child support. This can also be with family members, that there's this karmic psychological bond. The 8th house is the house of psychological bonding. And so these people are like the intimate partners that you share money and resources and taxes and inheritances and wills and the occult. And there's this bonding experience. So this could be your retirement, your savings. This could be bankruptcy, loss. Personal sacrifice of a transformation of something that's going on, and this could have to do with insurance and investments. So definitely circle this. It's an important day, that it will be a disruption of your personal resources that maybe you have invested with somebody else or somebody else has access to. And then on the very next day, we're going to have Mercury enter shadow. Now, this is important because Mercury going through the chart, Mercury is now going to be at 21 degrees of Leo. This is where it's going to come back to in its retrograde station. So we have Mercury saying, I'm meeting these new people, I'm networking, I am expanding my horizons in this area of people that feel like that I'm happy to be connected with, meaning that it's shadow. Whatever is started from this point on until it stations retrograde, you're going to be rethinking, reviewing, reconnecting, reevaluating. It'll be all the rewords. So notice what takes place from this point on, because you will be redoing, rethinking, reestablishing. Not a bad thing. I look at Mercury retrograde as an opportunity to stop, slow down, pause, and reconstruct that area of our life in order to move forward with things flowing easier. And then on July 20th, we're going to have Mars enter into Gemini. Now, Mars entering into the fiery sign of Gemini brings this passion, this desire, in all topics that revolve around two thoughts, two ideas, travel here, connect with these people, higher learning, diving into religion, diving into spirituality. You have Jupiter here. Jupiter's going to be here for the next year. I love that Mars says, no, I'm passionate about this. Let's make this happen. Mars here is going to bring about the opportunity to cut through, go after, and this could be studying, this could be ideals, beliefs. It's where you want to make these connections with things that have to do with legal matters or with publishing something. And then the very next day, so on the very next day, we're going to have July 21st, you're going to have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn at 29 degrees. Now, this will be a blue full moon because it'll be the second in the series. So the sun is in Cancer, highlighting your career, your job, your reputation, needing to find this balance. A full moon in Capricorn at the bottom of your chart, I want you to think back to the full moon that you experienced in June. With that full moon, it had something to do with endings. This could be somebody moving from your home, you selling your home, a grandparent, something that you find out about your ancestors, the foundation. This could have to do with real estate, your past. This could be traditions. And it's not just family. It could be those people that feel like family. The fourth house is the house of our foundation, of what things were built upon. And so there will be this ending of sorts that has to do with your foundation. And with this is an opportunity to say, I ended some things, the full moon revealed some things, but I wasn't 100% done. It gave me this opportunity to set up some tiered goals in order to completely finish this. And so knowing that you're going to have this finished goal with home, that you now need to work on a 1, a 5, or a 10-year strategy or plan of where will we end up? What do you think will happen? Is this about my career? Is this about my employment? Is this about who is in my home? Or what do I want to do with this? It will be in a very close conjunction with Pluto. Remember, it'll be at the 29th degree, so it's like an anaretic degree, and it'll be bumping into or connecting with Pluto, saying we have to transform some things here. We have to have a death of something in order to have a birth of something new. And then on the 21st, so as we move forward, it's the same day. We've got this full moon. I'm going to move it forward because on the same day, we have Mercury in Leo. Mercury is what we communicate, how we communicate. And with you, this is your social circles, your networks, your groups. And this could be teams or peers. Mercury in Leo is going to be forming this square, this tense aspect to Uranus. Remember, Uranus is shock, surprise, and liberation, freedom, in the sign of Taurus that has to do with your personal resources that you have connected with other people. So there's going to be this tense aspect going on between these two planets. Now, what's going to support you with this, because this is offering you some kind of a cutting of ties or something that needs to be integrated, you have the sun in Cancer at 29 degrees, and it's in a trine with Neptune, also at 29 degrees. So both of these are at anaretic degrees, saying, let's push this forward, let's manifest this and make this something good. The sun in Cancer at 29 degrees, this is the last degrees of something that you want to do for your career, something for your reputation, something that has to do with where you want to make your mark on society. It can be business related or promotion related. It has something to do also with Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is currently retrograde, so you going back inward and having to use your intuition because things are a little foggy, things are unclear. Why would I want to do this? This doesn't make sense. For your health, your well-being, finding a balance between home and career. At the same time, Mars is also in a harmonious aspect to Pluto. Now, Mars, if you remember, was working with Uranus to say, let's separate some things here. Mars now has moved into your ninth house of cross-cultural experiences, foreign people, places, and things, moving forward, wanting to cut through, do two things at one time, make these connections, and it's in a harmonious aspect with Pluto. Pluto is the planet of the transformative, and so it's saying this is what we have to do to transform. This is where you need to go. Let's make this happen. Publish this, get the word out, connect with these people, take this class, study abroad, it's something with AI, something with technology. All of this is going to be brought in on the same day in order to make something bigger happen later. And then on July 22nd, we're going to have the sun now moving into the sign of Leo, leaving your career sector and now moving into your networking sector of things that you want to do with your aspirations and social groups, networks, organizations, things that people, places, and things that you want to connect up with. Now, every time something moves into this house, it has to oppose Pluto. Remember, Pluto is about power. It's about strength. It's about saying, no, this has to be given up. This has to transform. An opposition is looking at something and saying, oh, I can't go on like this anymore. Leo is fun and play and joyful, and Pluto is saying, no, we have to get serious. We have to work towards this. Pluto in your fifth house is the house of children, is the house of affairs. It's the house of creativity. It is where we take a risk. It's fun and joy and pleasure. But how can I share this with others? And so this opposition is this could be a power struggle with what you want, and this can be an inner struggle going on with something that you want, need, and desire. And how does that play in with groups and social circles and networks? And so there can be something that's tested, feeling like this test is coming from within, about what you want with creativity and your self-expression, and this is who I am, and possibly embracing some leadership roles, having to step up and be the leader. Then, as we move forward to July 25th, you're going to have now Mercury entering into the sign of Virgo. Now, Mercury, remember, is the thoughts, the ideas, the communication, the travel. As it moves into the sign of Virgo, it's still moving forward. It is moving forward into your 12th house of the of going within to meditate, to tap into source, divine, God, goddess, Yahweh, Allah, Buddha. It's like tapping in and needing to take care of my mental health, my physical health. I need a spiritual retreat. I need to rest. The 12th house is where we do the shadow work. It's where we do the shamanic work. We tap into, we take time to yoga and meditate, and to we look at how do I heal and renew my spirit and my soul and myself. And so Mercury moving into this house, know that Mercury is going to be moving forward here, and then it's going to start its retrograde next month. So know that things that you're starting, you will be going back over and rethinking and reviewing and reconnecting. And so I look at all retrogrades as an opportunity to go back and make whatever I'm doing better. So you are going within, possibly to get rid of self-sabotaging thoughts and ideas, possibly to connect to your dreams, to heal from afflictions. The 12th house is about hospitalizations, but it's also about angels and guides and our ancestors. And then on the very next day, we're going to have Chiron stationing retrograde in the sign of Aries. Now, Chiron is our wound. Aries is the person. It can represent our head. The wound is in your partnership sector. And so this is you saying, I need to look at where I have been wounded with love, with relationship, with my best friends, my partners, my clients, all types of one-on-one relationships, exes, open enemies. The 7th house represents negotiation and cooperation, and it's where we learn trust and our connection to others. The 7th house is about how do you handle conflict and legal matters. And so Chiron stationing retrograde is you going within and saying, I need to address some of these issues so I can move on with a clear conscience of what does trust mean to me? How do I move forward with this? And how can I look at this as a healing opportunity and a blessing in disguise of an opportunity to see it and like people, places, and things as they reveal themselves. So Libra, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Scorpio Sun and Scorpio Rising, the first date that I want to bring to your attention is going to be July 2nd. So on July 2nd, you're going to have Neptune, which is trining your first house of self. So in a water sign about your identity, but Neptune is now stationed retrograde. So Neptune is the planet of higher thought, beliefs, and its spirituality, and it wants to merge and connect with others in your 5th house of fun and joy and pleasure and children. Now stationing retrograde has you, it's about this foggy energy, and you're going to have to work really hard to stay grounded and to see the way things really are. This period is really good for paying attention to your intuition. What are your dreams saying? What does your gut say? Using your imagination. And this will be a really good time to work through any karmic issues that have to do with taking of risks or creativity or children or something that is in relation to you. Again, this could also be with love affairs. And then I want to move on to July 3rd. So on July 3rd, we have Mercury entering into the sign of Leo. Now, I love this, but because now we have Mercury at the top of your chart, focused on your career, your job, your reputation. Mercury talking about your status, where you want to make your mark on society, your reputation, your goals, authority figures. The first thing that happens when Mercury enters into your career sector is it has to pass Pluto. It has to, and it's an opposition. Pluto at the bottom of your chart has to do with authority figures that are like family or people that feel like family or familial relationships. The 4th house is your foundation. And with Pluto, there's always this tug of war over power and over control. Pluto is the planet of birth, death, and rebirth. It wants you to transform. So how are you transforming your home? Through the way that you're communicating with job and career and reputation. Like what is going on that these two are opposing, and how do you integrate and work through that energy? Because the planets are in the sign of Cancer, and it's like watery and intuitive. It's trining your first house of self. Now as they move into your career sector, it's like, I need to get started. I need to move forward on this. Then as we come to July 5th, on July 5th, we're now going to have a new moon in the sign of Cancer. I absolutely love this for you because it does trine your first house of self, who you are, your identity. And so new moons. They're times for fresh starts, clean slates, new beginnings. This new moon is going to be emphasizing family that can be far away, wanting to move far away, wanting to take a class, wanting to take a workshop, starting something new. It is about creating or setting these intentions around my connections with others and starting something new that has to do with education, religion, philosophy, belief, legal matters, ethics, morals, ceremonies. A new moon here is really offering you the opportunity to say, I want to publish this. I want to teach this class. I want to take this class, and addressing all of those topics in order to make those things happen. Then we're going to move to July 10th. On the 10th, we're going to have the new moon that you started. So you have these ideas of things that you want to begin. And so we're going to have the sun in a harmonious aspect to Saturn in Pisces. Now, Saturn is stationed retrograde. It's in a fellow water sign, so it's a trine. It's in a harmonious aspect to children. Whatever you are starting, whatever you're beginning, whatever, like creating a safe, stable home, reliable, something that is about caring and nurturing. And then Saturn in your 5th house has to do with children, has to do with creative projects, has to do with hobbies and your skill set of how you express yourself, art, music, play. And so this harmonious aspect is saying, I need to have more joy and pleasure in my life. And how do I make this happen? Whatever you are starting needs to be incorporating a healing from within, a tapping into your inner child. And the very next day, we're going to move into July 11th, where Venus enters into Leo. So we have several things going on at the same time. We have Venus moving into the sign of Leo. Venus, love, beauty, relationships, wanting to bring people together, harmonious aspects. This could be with contracts and negotiations of talking and sharing ideas with people. And she's going to be here and saying, let's this should be fun and things should be these loving interactions. Don't forget that everything that comes through your 10th house also has to pass Pluto. Pluto's saying, well, if we do this, this can help us transform this. Now, this could be finding more beauty with where you work, finding something that you take pride in with your job or your career. What does this change for you in your home? This Venus entering Leo is about focusing in on life's pleasures and truly saying, I need to set aside some time for adult play, and that what I'm doing needs to have meaning. And then I want to talk about July 15th. Now, I'm suggesting to everybody that you should red circle this on a calendar. On July 15th, there's going to be this conjunction between Mars and Uranus in your 7th house of partnership. So Mars is the god of war. It's fire, it's passion, it's drive. Think of it as a sword. And Uranus is the great disruptor for freedom, for liberation. It is the breaking apart of something that has to do with Taurus themes: home, family, food, job, money, resources in your partnership sector. So this could have to do with open enemies, exes, conflict, legal matters. The 7th house is where we make these social contracts. You'll feel this leading up to it, and then you're going to feel it wane afterwards. And so it's going to be a significant time where it will cause disruption in this area of your life. And this could be with friends, it could be arguments, it could be with clients, and it's a time of like a severing or a parting of the ways in order to liberate and offer freedom to move on. Then the very next day, we're going to have July 16th, Mercury is going to enter into its shadow phase at 21 degrees of Leo. So I want you to pay attention to things that now happen in your career sector, in your reputation sector. The 10th house is about your ambitions, your reputation, and Mercury is talking, exchanging, traveling, all like computers, phones, technology, all of these ideas. Knowing that when Mercury starts from here, it's going to move forward, and then it's going to reverse backward. Like this retrograde is going to have you reviewing these topics in your life. So just take note of it, and knowing that you're going to be reviewing, rethinking, revising in order to rebuild or recreate. It's all the rewords that go with it, but the theme will be with everything that has to do with your reputation, business related, promotion, success, and your achievement and responsibilities. I don't look at it as something that I should fear. I look at Mercury retrograde here as an opportunity to go back and to like fill the holes, to make whatever I'm doing better. And that could be with email and phone and text and how I deliver information, or travel. Then on July 20th, so as we move forward to the 20th, we now are experiencing Mars entering into Gemini. Now Mars is here and Jupiter is here. So Jupiter is going to be here for the next year. Mars has now moved into it, moving away from that difficult opportunity or that difficult transition. And Mars is now looking at your 8th house of your shared resources. It wants to go in, it wants to cut, it wants to sharpen. The 8th house in Gemini is thoughts, ideas, communication, science, technology. How can I do two things at one time in the area of my shared resources, of other people's money, values. It has to do with your private affairs, with debts, obligations, taxes, inheritances, wills, insurance, the occult. It could be with things that have to do with our connections with business partners, significant others, and exes, like with alimony and child support. And it could also have to do with family members that you have these tangled or intertwined relationships, because the 8th house is the house of deep and psychological transformation. It's how do we transform and heal after loss or death. And so Mars here is transforming this area of your life. Then on the very next day, we are going to have a beautiful full moon in the sign of Capricorn. Now, the sun will be at 29 degrees and the moon will be at 29 degrees. You had a full moon in June, and it was also in the sign of Capricorn. So this is a full blue moon, so it's like two in the same sign. So the sun in Cancer has your focus on nurturing and caring and home and those topics. The sign of Capricorn is my responsibilities, job, the things that are closer to home, my relationship with siblings and neighbors and cousins, and where I make friends, and how I talk and exchange ideas. The 3rd house is all types of transportation. And so there could be some kind of an ending of a project, or like a friend moves away. The 3rd house can be an ending of like a daily commute, or an ending of a class or a workshop or something that you've taken, or something that you are journaling about or writing about or publishing. Now, we think that this is the end, but then in July, we have the 2nd full moon. It brings about the same topics and says, I gave you a chance to really finalize those things and give you, and for you to create this step-by-step guide in order to finish the long-term projects. And so now with the full moon here, this is you looking at this and saying, I need to evaluate my work situation, the way that I communicate with others, how I show up every day. And I need to have a 1, a 5, a 10-year plan in order to grow, change, and evolve. And it needs to be solid, stable, and reliable. And so with this next full moon, that is the opportunity that it brings you. And then on the same day, we're going to have Mercury. So knowing that all of this is going to be coming up, Mercury is going to be in Leo, and it's going to be, let me pull the chart up. Mercury is going to be in Leo, and it's going to be squaring Uranus. So Mercury, so we know that this has everything to do with your job, responsibility, authority figures, you being seen in the public light. Mercury in Leo, you speaking your truth, words, communication, technology, is going to be squaring Uranus and Taurus. It's going to be squaring something that has to do with clients or partnership or friendship, contracts, negotiation. Squares are tension points that need to be worked out. So as this is being worked out and then things are being revealed with the second full moon, we have to back us up the sun in Cancer, saying, I'm here to support you. It is trining Neptune. A trine is always a harmonious aspect. So the sun is saying, let the end goal be focus on family, focus on unity, focus on travel, focus on this interconnected, like how we can share these resources with other people. And Neptune says, and it can benefit my creativity, it can benefit children, it can benefit, it's a positive that comes from it. Remember, Neptune is retrograde, so it's you having to tune into your intuition to say, this makes me feel good, this makes me feel right, this is really what I'm supposed to be doing. And we also have Mars at the same time. Mars is in Gemini. So we know that this has to do with your shared resources, debt, wills, things that are tied up with either family members or work associates, or like literally investments or topics like that. It is in a trine with Pluto in Aquarius. So we know that this has to do with your home, your foundation, your family members, your personal life, your real estate, your property. So all of this is helping you to transform and move you into what does the new look like. All right, then on the 22nd, next day on the 22nd, we have the sun now moving into Leo. The sun into Leo, now we have all of the major planets or the interpersonal planets now moving into your career sector, like you being seen, your reputation being seen, you in the limelight, everything with your society, your status on society, where you want to make your mark on your world, your legacy. So the sun comes in here and says, all work and no play, cannot have this. Let's spice some things up. Let's take pride in this. The sun is very happy in Leo, but it has to first pass by Pluto. How can I have more fun, pleasure, and enjoyment when, how does this transform? What does my home look like? This could be a power struggle. Whenever Pluto is involved, it's about power, and where Leo is, it's ego. And so how do we work through these ego battles of opposing forces of something that could have to do with family, or the balance between home and family, or other people authority figures that you feel might be trying to control you? And then how do you work through this energy? I mean, the sun moving into Leo is going to be fun and joyful, but you still have to work through the opposition first. Then the next day, the 25th, not the next day. So then on the 25th, we're going to have Mercury entering into the sign of Virgo. So Mercury, now moving out of your house of career into the sign of Virgo, has you making the right connections with people. The 11th house is who you want to connect up with in order to move your career along, or aspirations, or like hobbies that you want to do. It's like groups and affiliations, or star family, or chosen family of who you want to connect up with, knowing that Mercury is going to station retrograde. So these people that you're meeting, there could be a reconnect later on at the beginning part of August. And the last is July 26th. Chiron is going to station retrograde. Chiron is our wound, and your wound has to do with your health and your well-being. Your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, psychological health really needs to be at the forefront. You have your North Node here, really drawing attention to it. The moon is here. Chiron is here saying, it's an Aries, my head, me. I need to be focused on healing me and my daily habits. The sixth house brings attention to self-care. Are you setting aside enough time for meditation, or for yoga, or for vitamins, or getting that walk in, or finding play time every single day? Chiron is going to have you going back over these topics so you can turn the focus inward on you and make sure that you are either seeing a counselor, seeing a mentor, seeing a guide, taking the vitamins or taking the supplements, bringing the focus back onto you and your health. So Scorpio, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Sagittarius Sun and Sagittarius Rising, the first day that I want to draw your attention to is July 2nd. On July 2nd, we're going to have Neptune stationed retrograde in your 4th house. Neptune is the planet of beliefs and dreams and illusion and connecting with everybody. In your 4th house of home and your foundation, your family, it has to do with like your real estate or your not necessarily blood family, but people who feel like family. So Neptune stationing retrograde here will have you, it'll bring foggy energy and it'll prompt you to say, I have to work harder to stay grounded, to see things clearly as they are about things that have to do with my family or my home or my living situation. I need to not brush them off. This period is really going to be excellent for like paying attention to your intuition, your gut instinct, and using this imagination to say, I think that this could happen, or I should really pay attention to this. Then on the very next day, we're going to have July 3rd, Mercury enter into the sign of Leo. Now, Mercury moving into Leo, Mercury is the planet of communication, travel, technology. Into your 9th house is saying, I want to travel there. I want to take that class. I want to publish this work. It has to do with legal matters. The 9th house is your cross-cultural experiences or your connections that you have with other people that are farther away. It's imports and exports. It's ceremonies. It has to do with morals and ethics and diving into religion and spirituality and understanding prophetic dreams and visions. And so Mercury moving into Leo brings to the attention of fun and joy and pleasure, and I need to be doing more of this for fun. Now, as Mercury moves into Leo, knowing all this is going to be going on, it first has to oppose Pluto. So you have 3 planets, 3 personal planets in your 8th house of your shared resources. Cancer is watery and intuitive, and it's about home and family. As these planets move into Leo, the energy is going to change into, I have to fire this up. I have to make this happen. I am ready for fun and joy, and I'm ready to get on out there and do things. The problem with this is everything is now going to have to cross Pluto's path. Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. Pluto is the planet of power and structure, and in order to transform, something has to die off in order to be reborn. And so we have Pluto in your 3rd house of communication or technology or travel, short distance travel. So this could be siblings and neighbors and cousins, but it can also be the way that you communicate, who you're communicating with. And so there can be these power struggles going on about what you're saying and what you're doing. And something that has to do, it could be with a sibling, it could be with a coworker. The 3rd house is where you connect with others and you talk and you exchange ideas and gossip and gather information. So during this transit, I would just be really cautious that what I would say would be my own authentic words and not AI's words, like if you're putting stuff out there for work, and to make sure that it's your original and that your thoughts are accurate and true and not just like gossip from somebody else. Then on July 5th, we're going to move towards this new moon. On July 5th, a new moon in Cancer is a fresh start, a new beginning, a clean slate of something new, of planting the seeds that has to do with you connecting your resources to somebody else. This can be with merging our money for investments. This could be, I want to pay off these bills, my debts, my obligations. Let's make a plan to do this. This could be with taxes or inheritances. The 8th house can be insurance or the private or your private affairs. It's also the house of deep bonding and where we have these connections with others. So this can be with a business partner, a life partner, or this can be with like an ex, and this could also be with family members that you share something like a house, or because it's the house of sexuality, and it's also psychological, and so it's those people that you would be connected with on two personal different spectrums of your life. Then on July 10th, knowing that you're going to set this new moon intention out there into the universe of things that you want to begin, now you're going to have the sun in a harmonious aspect to Saturn in Pisces. So we know that this is starting something new, and the sun in Cancer is about home and family and security in your 8th house of sharing these resources, in a trine with Saturn that's retrograde in your 4th house of home, in your 4th house of traditions, of let's work together, this is working, let's make this, let's support this, and what do I have to do to support this? Then on the very next day, we're going to have Venus enter into the sign of Leo. So Venus will be the second planet to merge on over. Venus is the goddess of love and money and resources and beauty, and she wants to bring and unite people together. Not always just for love, but sometimes it's friendship love or familial love or a connection to others. In your 9th house is I have a love of this. So a love of taking a class or a workshop, or I want to travel there, or I want to publish this, or it's a love of studying something. The 9th house is all about our ideals and our belief. And Venus is not always about a specific love match. There's many different kinds of love. There's friendship love. There's the love of my dog, a love of taking a class. And so Venus here is bringing these topics to the forefront for joy and pleasure. And she has to pass by Pluto, the planet that's saying, how are we going to communicate this? How are we going to transform? What are you going to give up? There could be this power struggle with an opportunity to say, I want to have these loving interactions. I really want to do this. And Pluto says, you better have a plan. What are you going to give up in its place? And how do we communicate this? Can you do this from home? Can you do this while you travel? Like, how are you going to make this happen? It's authority and it's transformation, and it is it makes you go within in order to transform and make it better. Then on the 15th, everybody should be marking this date on their calendar. You'll feel it the days leading up to it, and then you're going to feel it the day of, and then it'll start to wane afterwards. There's going to be a Mars-Uranus conjunction. A conjunction is when the two planets merge their energy together. And so we have Mars, the warrior, the fighter with a sword, somebody like you, fired up, angry, moving forward, with topics that have to do with your home, your resources, money, your investments, your food, things that you value, coming together with Uranus. Uranus is the planet of shock, surprise, and liberation and freedom. The two of them together is really bringing this strong energy of disruption and tearing things apart. Like Mars is like an angry, like somebody who just gets in there and like cut. And so this is your daily habits. This is in your health sector. I would definitely use caution with all types of your mental health, physical health, spiritual health. This is in the house of self-care. How do I take care of myself? Making those plans, maybe getting rid of things that are not working, but definitely focused on how do I take care of myself. This is also pets are here and employees. This is the house of relationship with our coworkers. And so all of these topics can revolve around diet, illness, nutrition, and like ending an old habit. But what has to happen before you do that? Like this could be the culmination that says, okay, I'm finally going to quit doing X, Y, and Z. And then on the next day, we have Mercury in shadow. I bring this up because Mercury is moving forward in your 9th house, bringing the attention to you wanting to travel and these things that you are doing, like higher education and religion and philosophy and your experiences, and like publishing things, and it's the search for the meaning of life. It's out there and connecting with others. It's stationing in its shadow at 21 degrees Leo, meaning this is where it's going to come back to when it retrogrades or when it's done retrograding. So pay attention to what happens from here on out, because Mercury's going to move forward. It's going to have you rethink, review, revise, readjust all of these topics that you're now communicating or wanting to travel to, or think about your phone, think about computers, think about boats and planes, and all of those topics are up for a review. Then I want to talk about July 20th. So on July 20th, we have Mars now entering into the sign of Gemini. Mars is fierce and hot and action and moving forward. Mars is in your partnership sector with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of abundance. It's going to be here for the next year. And Mars is saying, let's multitask. Let's cut through this. Let's get through this. Let's make this happen. The seventh house is the house of conflict, legal matters. It's the house of your public enemies. It's trust and connection to others. It's the house of love, and it's your +1 house that's expanding. And how are you cutting and making things easier for you to move forward with? And that very next day, on July 21st, we're going to have the sun still in your 8th house, bringing topics of your resources that for security, home, family. And you're going to have a full moon in your 2nd house of your personal assets, your personal resources, your personal cash and possessions. Now, this is the 2nd one. You had one in June. And this will be a blue moon because it'll be full again in the same sign, and it'll be at the anaretic degree of 29 degrees. And so think back to what ended for you in your money sector, or your security sector, or your value system. Like, what ended? Did you pay off a bill? Did you purchase something? This is about movable property, your skill set, incomes, possessions. You had an ending, and full moons always reveal some things, but it wasn't a complete ending. It was, no, you still have to do this, this, and this in order to have it completely end. And so that's what will happen with this full moon. It's bringing about a plan to finalize or to finish. And then it's asking you in Capricorn fashion to have a 1, 5, 10-year plan in order to move forward with your personal finances, money, resources. So on the same day, we're going to have Mercury in Leo, and it is going to be in a square to Uranus in Taurus. Now, squares are tension points in order to create conflict, to push for change. What you're saying and doing, what you're communicating, fun, joy, pleasure, travel, connection, publishing, taking a class, it's not jiving really well with your daily habits, something that has to do with your with self care of yourself. The 6th house is the balance between your home and work. Now, what adds to this is going to support it. So we have this tension point between these two areas of your life. And at the same time, you're going to have the sun in Cancer at 29 degrees, trining Neptune at 29 degrees. At the anaretic degree of a potential to end something really big, but now it's a trine. How can we help you end this on a good note? The sun in Cancer is focusing on your resources that are connected with other people, your investments, your debt, your like the 8th house is the house of deep bonding, but it's transformation. Now, how will this help you with Neptune that's retrograde in your 4th house of home? Neptune has you focused on your house of home and so does the sun, but it's you linked up with somebody else. It's you and business partner, significant other, or this could be with an ex or with family member. Bringing your intuition in of this is where I'm going. This is what I have to do. Adding in Mars in Gemini at 0 degrees. So another anaretic degree of potent, I want to start something. Trining Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is the natural, is the ruler rules over with Mars. And so we have the planet of death and transformation in the way that we communicate with science and technology and AI and basic education and media and conversation, talking and exchanging ideas with people, with Mars, with best friends, significant others, clients, love, contractual agreements, all putting the story together of what is ending and what is a conflict and why we have to push through this and what could come out the other end from this. All right, so then on the 22nd, we now have the sun moving into the sign of Leo. So the sun saying, oh, let's go there. Let's go on vacation. It's fun. It's joy. It's pleasureful. Like it's in trine to your first house of self. It's, I need to go there. Let's take that class. Let's study this. Let's explore this. The ninth house is ideals and beliefs, and it's bigger than. And so what happens is it opposes Pluto. Everything that passes through your ninth house has to pass through Pluto's vision. And Pluto is authority or power struggles. And the sun in Leo is about ego. And so there's this opposition of this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go, and something that's holding you back. This could be siblings or neighbors or work projects or something that is closer to home that's stopping you from, not necessarily stopping, but opposing you and saying, how do you move past this? How do you incorporate this? This could be a power struggle. This could be an ego battle between you and somebody else. And then on the 25th, we're going to finally have Mercury entering into Virgo. Now, as Mercury moves into the sign of Virgo, it's leaving the Leo, knowing that it's going to come back here when it stations retrograde. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Mercury is now going to be at the top of your chart, having to do with your reputation, your career, your job, all types of my public life, government, authority figures. Mercury here. And Mercury is very comfortable in Virgo. So this will also probably have something to do with partnership or clients. Mercury moving into Virgo, knowing that whatever you are starting or working towards when Mercury stations retrograde, it'll be a time of, I have to stop, I have to pause, I have to reevaluate, rethink, resubmit, all of the words, and that'll happen in August. And then the last thing is going to be Chiron stationing retrograde in the sign of Aries. And so Chiron is our wound. And for you, Chiron represents, it represents like who you are with fun and joy and self-exploration and creativity and you being your authentic self. This is in trine to your first house of self. This is this has to do with your identity, with who you are, and what does fun still mean to you? Not able to do the same thing. So how do you, okay, like let's say that we can't ski anymore, so maybe we snowboard. We can't snowboard anymore, so maybe I take up something else like boating. It's these hobbies, it's these things that you used to do, and now you're looking at it and saying, I can't do this. This brings me joy and pleasure. I feel sad or wounded or upset by this. And this could have something to do with your children. But this is, I need to go back and say, what can I do? How can I look at this as pleasurable? How can I look at this as the lesson that comes from it? The fifth house is also the house of children and love affairs, and going back and saying, how have I been wounded, or how have things hurt, and how can I look at these artistic pursuits or look at this growth of of my creative self-expression, and how can I heal my inner child through this transit. So Sagittarius, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Capricorn Sun and Capricorn Rising, the first transit that I want to bring your attention to is Neptune in your third house, and Neptune is going to be stationing retrograde. Neptune is the planet of faith and belief and religion and like spirituality and connecting with other people. And it's watery, it's intuitive. And so with this, it is now stationing retrograde in your third house of communication. So Neptune retrograde with siblings and neighbors and cousins, and your communication with how you talk and exchange ideas and how you build these relationships with people. The third house is where you connect and the news that you understand, or the information that you hear. It's transportation, it's your daily commute, and it's like learning these new skills. Now stationing retrograde, it makes things foggy, like having brain fog, and your energy is like drained a little bit. And so it's really prompting you that, oh, I have to really pay attention to this so I don't make a mistake. It's having to stay grounded. This will be a really good time for you to say, I need to follow my intuition. I need to follow my gut instinct of where it says I'm going or what I'm supposed to be doing. I need to like work through this and push through this time period. Then we're going to move to July 3rd. So on July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury now entering into the sign of Leo. So you've had all these planets that have been in your seventh house of partnership or clients or love or contractual agreements. All of these planets in Cancer had you focused on inward and family and nurturing. Now Mercury is going to be the first one that's going to venture out, and it's going to be fired up with passion into your eighth house of your shared resources. Like, let's do something about this. Let's make this happen. The eighth house is the house of debts. It's the house of alimony and child support. It's your connection or what you have tied up in other people's resources, or where you have, it's your retirement, it's your savings, it's where we make personal sacrifices. It's the house of transformation and healing after loss. And so Mercury moving into Leo is saying, I need to have more fun, joy, and pleasure, but what do I do? Like, how do I communicate this? And where do I, what do I do with this money? What do I do with the earnings? Like, what's going to happen with this? Now, the thing that's important with this is it opposes Pluto. You have Pluto in your second house of personal resources, your money, your skill set. And so where's your money going? Where are the investments going? You're really taking a good, long, hard look at this, or you should be looking at this and saying, I need to look at the final line, or I need to read the contract. How much will this cost me? During this transit, Pluto is the planet of birth, death, and rebirth, and wanting to transform what we have, and things cannot stay the same. And Mercury in your eighth house is opposing it. So there could be this emphasis that there could be authority figures, or it could be power struggles about where, like, whose money is it? What about these investments? Alimony, child support, all topics of what you share with other people. Then on July 5th, you're going to now have this beautiful new moon in your partnership sector in the sign of Cancer. I love this. This is a fresh start, a new beginning. This is emphasizing home and family and well-being. And if you're signing contracts, or if you're working with a partnership, this is like a loving partnership. It's a bringing together and making people feel safe and secure and comfortable in anything that has to do with negotiation or handling of legal matters. Now, knowing that you're going to be setting this new moon intention, as we move to the 10th, the sun is going to move into the sign of Cancer, or stay in the sign of Cancer. And so it's then going to trine Saturn in Pisces. So your intentions that you put out there that you started are now going to be working with the way that you communicate, who you communicate with. These could be contracts, negotiations. The third house is where you connect with others and openly talk and exchange ideas and build relationships. And so this is a harmonious building of relationships with healthy boundaries around it, because Saturn is retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Then on June 11th, so we now have Venus entering into the sign of Leo. Venus, what we love, who we love, how we love, wanting to connect and bring together. Venus kind of love is not just love of a partner. It can be love of a sibling, love of a pet, love of a friend. There's many different kinds of love. And so Venus moving into the 8th house is offering an open expression of affection. It still has to bypass Pluto. So there could be some power struggles of the combining of resources, or what are we doing with these resources. Venus moving into Leo is expressing this and encouraging these interactions and focusing on life's pleasures. Let's do this with the money, or it's about looking at what you have or the things that you have together, and there will be these conversations of this is what we can do with it. Like, let's have this open conversation. Then on July 15th, everybody should mark this date down on their calendar and circle it in red. On July 15th, we're going to have Mars conjunct Uranus. So Mars is a warrior. It's fire. It's passion. Think of it as a sword coming in, wanting to cut. Uranus is conflict, chaos. It is disruption. It's liberation. It's freedom. In the sign of Taurus. Home, money, resources, food, in your 5th house of children, of lovers, of creative projects, where you've taken a risk, of investments. I bring in the topics that have to do with hobbies or art, music, all of these creative expression or pursuits. It's in the house of where love is like given or where we express it. This is a difficult combination of energy that is powerful and wants to cut and remove and disrupt. And so use caution with your investments. This could be angry words said between you and children, or your children saying them to you, or a lover, or a creative project and not being appreciated, like not being valued for it. The goal of this is to make things to happen, to be brought to the light in order to create change. Then as we move to the next day of the 16th, July 16th, I want you to make note of Mercury. Mercury is in your 8th house again. Remember, these topics are very important to you, of what you have connected to other people. And it's about taboo topics, and it could be like retirement, money. It's like, but it's your resources. It's your private affairs. And so Mercury is now in it's at the same degrees. It's in the shadow of where Mercury will come back to when it is finished with its retrograde. So know that you're going to be starting something from this point on. So make a note of it and know that Mercury is going to move ahead, and then it's going to retrograde. So that's rethink, revise, redo. All of these topics that you are working on now, you can try to be proactive with it, but when Mercury stations retrograde, it literally points out the holes where we have these mistakes and says that we need to finalize some of these things. We need to go back and readjust and possibly rewrite, review, rethink, all of the rewords. Then on July 20th, we're now going to have Mars entering into the sign of Gemini. So Mars, fire, passion, desire, drive, now joining Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be in your health sector for the next year, bringing you opportunities of anything that's going on with your health, different healing modalities. Mars here is in the sign of Gemini. Let's try this quick. Let's cut this out. Let's get rid of this. Mars in your 6th house can bring about, let's get rid of this bad habit. Let's really focus on this. It's about self-care and alternative healthcare practices. This could also have to do with pets. And it's the house of how I take care of myself before I support other people. It's my mental, physical health and well-being, like seeing a counselor, seeing a mentor, and sharing ideas and communicating with them. Now, as this is happening, like literally the next day, we're going to have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn, your first house of self. Now, the sun is still in your partnership sector, illuminating those topics, and the moon will be at 29 degrees. So this will be a blue full moon because you had a full moon here at the end of June, bringing about endings or culminations of some topics that had to do with you, your personality, your appearance, projects that you started. I always say that the first house is your website or your business card. So we know that this has to do with self-interest and things, something that had to do with an ending. Now, it might not have been the final ending. And so Capricorn says, build something that will last, make investments that will last over a longer period of time. It's usually like about career and job and money and resources. And so the second full moon this is what you have to do to finalize what you've already started. And so let's come up with a 1, 5, or 10-year strategy in order to get to where we want to be for our profession, our retirement, our employment, our education. It's putting a plan into action and making it attainable with not just one goal, but minor other goals that lead up to it. Now, on the same day that this is going to be happening, we're going to have Mercury in Leo, and it is going to be in a square to Uranus. It's at 26 degrees. So remember, Mercury is talking about writing contracts, negotiations, compromises. It has everything to do with where is your money tied up, where's your resources tied up. This could be with talking about death, rebirth, like finalizing plans for funerals, things like that. All of these topics. It's going to be in a square with Uranus. Squares are tense angles that push for change in order to liberate and give freedom. Uranus in your 5th house has something to do with like children or with your creative projects, or it could be a lover. Knowing that this is happening at the same time, we're going to have your sun at 29 degrees. So it's an anaretic degree of an ending in a harmonious aspect with Neptune, both in water signs. So we know that this has to do with partnership or with love or contractual agreements or with legal matters. And it has to do with who you're sharing these ideas with, openly talking and sharing and gaining information through the media or conversations that you're having with others. And Neptune being retrograde saying, I need to use my intuition with this. And I want to throw in Mars. Mars is at the anaretic degree of 0, just starting something, and it is in a trine with Pluto. Now, Pluto is in your 2nd house of your money and your resources, your personal skill set, your salary, your income, your possessions, your belongings. Mars here has to do with your daily habits of self-care. I have to take care of me. I have to take care of my money, my resources. This is the starting of something new. 0 is the anaretic degree of the merging and the beginning and the blending of manifesting moving forward. 29 is like the ending of, and all of this is pulling together to say whatever is going on here, it's supported by the rest of the planets. All right, so then I want to move to the 22nd. On the 22nd, we're going to have the sun move into the sign of Leo. So now we have all of the planets out of the water and now into the fiery sign of Leo, saying this is now a serious focus of bringing my attention, of pleasure and joy and fun. But it has to square Pluto. Pluto in your second house of what is mine, my spending goals, my resources, my security system, my value system, my belongings, what belongs to me. The Sun focused on where is everything invested, or how have I supported others with this? So the Sun moving into Leo and opposing Pluto can be fun-filled joy, but there could be ego battles. This could have to do with control. The Sun in Leo can be ego. The Pluto can be power struggles or the desire to control. I want to decide where the money goes. I want to decide how much we're going to spend. And bringing those two things into alignment with how you're going to move forward. And then on July 25th, we're going to have Mercury entering into the sign of Virgo. Mercury now moving into Virgo, knowing that Mercury is so happy in Virgo also. I want to travel. I want to think about connecting with other. I want to take that class. I want to dive into religion or spirituality. I want to look at imports and exports. I'm looking for the meaning of things. Like I want to understand, to dive into my ideals and beliefs. All of the ninth house has to do with your experiences of adventure, and it can also be attached to legal matters because it's travel, writing, papers, contracts, and so it can have any of those connotations attached to it, knowing that whatever it's covering right now, you're going to go back and review, rethink, rewind. So it could be like, I have to retake that class, or it's whatever you're starting. And if it's a legal matter, knowing that you're going to go back and revise or revamp it. Then on the 26th, we're going to have Chiron in Aries, and it's going to be stationing retrograde. So Chiron is your personal wound in the sign of Aries, your head, your mind, your thoughts, your ideas in your fourth house of your home, your family, your living situation, your familial relationships, your upbringing. The fourth house has to do with real estate and property. It's not only family, but it's people that feel like family. And Chiron stationing retrograde here is really going back and saying, I have to deal with feeling of being wounded, either with how I was raised or my family situation or what my kids are doing or what my parents are doing. And how do I move past this, knowing that they're on their path, their journey, and I need to look at the blessings that come from these things as I navigate this energy. So Capricorn, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. And for private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. So for Aquarius Sun and Aquarius Rising, I want to start the month off with July 2nd. So on July 2nd, we're going to have Neptune stationing retrograde. Neptune is beliefs, and it's very fluid, it's intuitive, and now stationed retrograde, it's in your second house of your money, your resources, your skill set, your talents. It's like everything going through your fingers, like losing these things, income, possessions. It's how you support yourself. Now, Neptune retrograde, it's going to offer you this foggy energy that you're going to have to stay grounded. You're going to have to work really hard not to let everything slip through your fingers. It's going to be a really good time to hone your intuition and use your imagination about where do I move forward from here and how do I keep what I have and let it be secure. Then on July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury enter into the sign of Leo. So Mercury represents thoughts, ideas, communication, and travel. And Mercury, moving into your partnership sector, is bringing about all types of communication that could have to do with love or negotiations or compromises, best friends, significant others, clients, one-on-one relationships. This is a perfect opportunity to say it's about bringing together, but it's fun and joy and pleasure. The difficulty that comes with this is it will oppose Pluto in your first house of self. Pluto is the planet of birth, death, and rebirth. It's the planet that forces transformation in order to evolve and grow. And so knowing that you have some types of connecting or networking, these like this could be open enemies or exes, and trust and communication and connection, and how do I handle this conflict in legal matters? How do I move forward with this? Okay, and then on the 5th, we're going to have this beautiful new moon in the sign of Cancer. So Cancer is watery, it's intuitive, it is all about home and family and security in your 6th house of your daily habits, making sure that you are meeting your own needs, taking the vitamins, making sure you're going for the walk or yoga or meditation, or are you seeing a counselor? Are you doing what you need to do in order to take care of yourself? This is a beautiful new moon that is about tapping into setting intentions that will create this safe environment for you to feel good and heal. It's definitely about mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally healing from within. Now, as we move forward to the 10th, knowing that you've set this new moon intention, let's take the theme of what you've started, because the sun is still going to be in Cancer, and now it's going to be trining Saturn in Pisces. So whatever you are starting, it will have something to do that will be supported by your self-worth, your cash, your property. Like the 2nd house is your money, your finances, your values, your opinions, your skill set, and Saturn is retrograde. I need to go within to see what do I really value. And this has to do with your daily habits and health, like readjusting your value system to say, this is the most important thing to me. And Saturn in Pisces is saying, I need healthy boundaries in order to move forward, and tuning inward to acknowledge or realize what those things are. Then on July 11th, we have Venus entering into the sign of Leo. Now, Venus, the goddess of love, emotions, like she brings people together. It's about money. It's about, now, this kind of love is not always about partnership love. This can be best friend love. This can be love of friends. Love comes in many different forms, and this is Venus in Leo. So it's attracting and wanting to bring together in the 7th house of your contractual relationship. So this could have to do with clients or legal matters, or how you are handling conflict or negotiation and cooperation. And as you're working on this, knowing that ego or power plays can be in place here, and you're going to have to work through it and negotiate it and figure out, because they oppose each other. It's who you are and where you're wanting to move forward is in an opposition with either something that your partner is doing or partnership in general. But Venus here is really making it easier to express love and affection and be more romantic and loving in your interactions, and to say, I need to enjoy life's little pleasures. As we move to the 15th, I really believe that everybody should be marking this date on their calendar with a red marker, red pen, because we're going to have Uranus, Mars conjunct together. This means that they're both pooling their energy in order to create something bigger that they could do alone. Mars is the warrior. It's fiery, it's intense, it's like with a sword, and it's cutting and removing. And Uranus is known as the great liberator. Think of it as lightning or an earthquake. It is shock and surprise, and I didn't see that coming. And so it's a clash of together with something that has to do with your money, your resources, home, family, and it brings together a major shift and a major change in order to transform this could be something that has to do with your home or your family or real estate or property or relationships that you have but it's definitely in your home sector. So you'll feel it the few days that lead up to it. It'll be exact on that day, and then the few days that are afterwards. And then on the very next day, we have Mercury entering into its shadow in the sign of Leo. So Mercury is thoughts and ideas and communication. And for you, this is contracts and negotiation and this is like the +1 house. This is you with everybody else. So know that whatever you are starting at this time, this is where Mercury's entering its shadow. Things that are started at this time, Mercury's going to move forward, but you're going to go back and revisit, rethink, review, and this can bring back people back into your life. This can bring back like exes. It can bring back in enemies. The 7th house is you with everybody else. So take note of what's going on in your life at about this time. Then I want to talk about July 20th. So as we move to the 20th, we're going to notice that Mars is now going to be moving into the sign of Gemini. Mars, let's cut, let's remove, let's get through with projects or creative things that you want to start. This is, are you inventing something, creating something? The 5th house has to do with children. So this could be like initiating those topics, or the 5th house has to do with affairs or investments. It's where we take a risk, and it's where we work on creative outlets or artistic pursuits. And this is an opportunity to say, I can do 2 things at one time. Let's get the ball rolling on this. Let's make this happen. Now, the very next day is going to be the 21st, and you're going to have a full moon. This will be the 2nd of, so it will make it a blue full moon. The sun is in your 6th house, highlighting your health, your well-being, your daily habits. And the full moon, you had one in June, and you're going to have a second at 29 degrees. So it's an anaretic degree. It's really important. It's about a major ending. So think back to June, when you had this ending of sorts that had to do with, this could be, 12th house themes are deep journeys, secrets, being isolated, karma, like clearing out karma. And this is things that you have been doing alone, connecting into your spiritual realm of your dreams, your intuition. Now, the 12th house revolves around topics of hidden enemies and also self-sabotage. And so this could be the first full moon in June is releasing yourself from some of that karmic debt. And then how do I continue to do this? Or how do I continue to work alone in order to finish these things? And then the second full moon will be at 29 degrees, darn near conjunct Pluto, a transformation of you. I need to get over my fears. I need to work past this. I need to heal and renew. And basically, the 12th house is like, I need to clear the basement. I need to like start fresh. I need to focus on me, and I need like a connection to time alone for spiritual, like meditation and yoga. It's where we withdraw and pay attention to our angels, our guides, and go within to say, what does my body need? Now, as this is going on, we have also a couple other things happening all at the same time. So on the 21st, we're now going to have Mercury in the sign of Leo. So Mercury, remember, it's your communication, your contracts, your negotiations, who you're doing this with, open enemies, exes. It's going to be in a square with Uranus. Uranus is shock, surprise, liberating. Like this could be a fight with a family member. This could be a disagreement with a parent. This could be, this is not a happy transaction, but it's about something that needs to be said and something that needs to be done. What's going to support you with this is the sun at 29 degrees in Cancer. Your mental health is going to be in a trine with Neptune, your self-worth. You need to speak up. Let's just focus on the kind words that we can use. Neptune in the 2nd house is my mental, physical emotional resources and going within to say, this is what I need, both at 29 degrees, a major ending. So it's an anaretic of, I have to do this. I have to speak up. I have to have this uncomfortable talk with my partner, my business partner, my significant other, my best friend, or with a client, because this is interacting or interfering with my home. What also supports it is Mars. We have Mars at 0 degrees in your 5th house of creativity. And it will be in a trine to Pluto, your identity, who you are. So we're bringing in that you need to move off and you need to try to do this. This has to do either with children or a creative project and starting something new. It's, I am ready to take a risk and do this. I have to do this. This is going to transform who I am. I am meant to do this. And so freedom, liberation, all of this put together in one day for yourself. Then I want to talk about the 22nd, like the very next day. The sun is now going to move into the sign of Leo. So now we have like 3 planets really focused on your partner. Like your partner or partnership or clients or best friends are really a high priority for you. This could be connecting with them or something that has to do with contracts and negotiations and legal matters. The sun moving into this house is really going to put ego into this. But remember, everything has to pass Pluto, this opposition to Pluto in your 1st house of who you are. So this could be your ego coming up against power struggles with partnership. There's these opposing forces of, what do I do? Do I stand strong? Do I negotiate? I feel like I'm giving in. This is my self-expression. All of these topics. And it could have to do, again, with control. Then as we move to the 25th, we're going to have Mercury now enter into the sign of Virgo. So we talked about Mercury of its contracts and travel and things that you're writing and the people that you're connecting with. But now Mercury is moving into your 8th house. This is your shared resources sector. This is your money that's been invested. This is the house of personal sacrifice, retirement, debts, obligations, taxes. The 8th house represents where we have these connections or want to have these connections with others, and it's the house of taboo topics. So Mercury coming into your 8th house, knowing that it's going to station retrograde in a couple of weeks, so you are moving forward with something that you've invested in or that you have other people's money invested in, and what do you do with this? When Mercury enters into this, knowing that you're going to go back, revise, rethink, and redo, I look at it as an opportunity to try it, to do it right the first time, but we learn from our mistakes. And that's what Mercury retrograde is going to show you. In a couple of weeks, whatever you're working on now, the retrograde is going to start and you're going to have to go back and say, I didn't think about this. I didn't think about this. I need to revise this. I need to redo this. Not a bad thing. It's just a thing that you're going to have to do. It'll make the final product better. And the last thing is on the 26th. You're going to have Chiron station retrograde. Chiron is our personal wound, and it's in your 3rd house of communication. And so Chiron here is, how do I communicate with others? My skill set of taking a class or learning or studying. And the 3rd house is building relationships, building friendships. And how am I wounded by this? The 3rd house is all media. It has to do with your neighbors, your siblings, your cousins. It's going to the grocery store. It's people that you connect and share ideas with on a daily basis. And what does this mean to have you hurt because of some past conversations? And how do we move forward and heal and transform from this? So Aquarius, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Pisces Sun and Pisces Rising, the first date that I want to bring here to your attention is July 2nd, because Neptune is going to station retrograde in your first house of self. So this is all about you, your identity, your image. This could be your business card, your website. It's how you present yourself to the world. Neptune being retrograde brings about this foggy energy, and it means you're going to have to really work harder in order to stay grounded. It's going to be a really good time to hone your intuition and use your imagination with things that you want to move forward with. I wouldn't do anything major or drastic during this time because it's retrograde. It's like I need to go within and pay attention. Where is my body telling me I need to go? Or what was my heart and soul telling me that I need to do? Now, as we get to July 3rd, we're going to have Mercury enter into the sign of Leo. And Mercury, thoughts, ideas, communication, travel, networking in your daily habits of how do you take care of yourself and nurture yourself. The 6th house has to do with your self-care and alternative self-care. Like, what are you doing to make sure that taking your vitamins, going for the walk? Do you need a chiropractor? Do you need a massage? Like, what are you doing on a daily basis? Seeing a counselor, seeing a mentor, all of these topics, communicating this and traveling to get to these places. Now, when Mercury enters into the sign of Leo, all of these things are what you are starting, but it opposes Pluto. Pluto is in your 12th house. Self-sabotage, hidden enemies, dreams, intuition, psychic ability, knowing what is for your best, saying that I do need to take time to take care of myself and I can make it fun and pleasurable and enjoyable. Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. So anything that's leaving your 5th house of children and fun and joy and pleasure, your Cancer house, is now going to move into Leo, and each one has to stop by Pluto. And Pluto is saying, you have to sacrifice something. You have to give up something. In order to transform, this is what we have to do. Okay, so on the 5th, we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Cancer. This is in a harmonious aspect, a trine to your first house of self. So you will definitely be feeling it. You'll be all up in your feels. It's about starting something new, taking a risk. This could be with investments or children or a lover. The 5th house has to do with art and music and creativity and love affairs and creative outlets. It's love given, it's play, it's leisure activities. And it's I need to have more fun, joy, and pleasure in my day-to-day life. And so it will emphasize home and family and your emotional well-being, either for yourself, for you to create that environment for your children, or to tap in for your inner child. Then knowing that whatever it is, that new moon intention that you're putting out there, that on the 10th, you're now going to have the sun still in the sign of Cancer, trining Saturn in Pisces. A trine is this harmonious aspect. So you know that we had that foggy energy. Well, the foggy energy mixed with the sun is follow your intuition. This is where it's leading you. This is what you're supposed to be doing. If it feels good, yes, you're supposed to be doing it, moving in that direction. And the very next day, we're going to have Venus entering into the sign of Leo. So Venus is who we love, how we love, what we love. Venus wants to blend together and merge together people. Venus not only brings together like two people for love, but it can be love of a best friend, a love of a pet, a love of something. It doesn't have to be a significant life partner. So Venus moving into your 6th house is I need to be able to fall in love with who I am. I need to be healthy. I need to take my daily habits into account every single day and feel really good about it. Knowing this, it also has to oppose Pluto. Pluto being in your 12th house of my fears, my karma, I have to heal, I have to renew. Pluto here is going to be there for the next 20 years saying, I need to work on myself. I need to make sure that I'm always nurturing and taking care of myself and not losing myself in others as I do that. Then a date that I think everybody should be focused on is July 15th. I think you should circle it in red. Mars is going to conjunct Uranus in your third house. So Mars is fire, drive, passion, warrior. Think about a soldier or a knife. And Uranus is disruption, chaos, the storm, electric, a tornado. Taurus is home, food, money, resources. In your third house of communication, friendship, your relationship with your neighbors, your siblings, your cousins. The third house has to do with all types of conversation and transportation and new skills. And it's where you connect and talk and openly exchange ideas with others. So this could be about fights and arguments and like feeling like I'm losing something or having something taken away from me. And so just use caution on that day because it's a power struggle. It's a disruptive force that causes something to change and never go back to the way it was before. Now, on the very next day, we have July 16th, and Mercury is going to be entering into its shadow at 21 degrees. So know that Mercury in your sixth house is the way that you're sharing or traveling or talking and communicating. This could be with coworkers, this could be with employees, and this could be with your daily routine, finding that balance between home and work, knowing that on this day, Mercury is going to be coming back to it when it stations retrograde. So moving forward, paying attention to everything that's going to be happening, knowing that you're going to be reviewing, revising, and rethinking things that were started at this time later on next month. All right. So then on July 20th, we're now going to have Mars enter into the sign of Gemini. Mars is fierce and loyal and protective and fiery, and Gemini doing two different things at the same time, two different homes. What do I want to fix in my home? Jupiter is here. Jupiter's going to be in your home, expanding your home for the next year. Now, in the sign of Gemini is thoughts and ideas and communication and science and technology, and using all of those things for what can truly happen in your home during this transit. Then on the very next day, we're going to have a full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So the sun is still focused on you and creative projects or children or places or areas where you've taken a risk. And the full moon is in the sign of Capricorn. It will be at 29 degrees, which is an anaretic degree. It's an ending of sorts, a big ending. Because this is the second full moon, it will be a blue full moon. You had a full moon in the sign of Capricorn at the end of June. And so there had to be some endings with either group affiliations or networks, or maybe you finished a goal or finished. The 11th house is your hopes, your wishes, your aspirations, your goals, who you network in order to get there. It's also teamwork or peers. It's where we have these shared activities or creative activities with other people, or it's our creative circle. There could have been an ending of sorts, or you thought that it was done, or the project was done. And then you find out that it wasn't 100% over. This full moon is really going to be bringing about the steps in order for you to attain that goal, to get to that ending. And then it's going to be basically setting you up saying, and now we need to have a new plan, one that's a 1, a 5, and a 10 years in order to move forward with. Now, on the same day that all of this is happening, you're going to have, Mercury in the sign of Leo, and it is now going to be in a square to Uranus. So we have Mercury at 26 degrees in your health sector, in your daily habits, in your routine, or your caretaking of others. And it's going to be in a difficult square with Uranus. Uranus, remember, is the liberator. It's shock, it's surprise, with the way that you communicate, with people that you make friends with, relationship with neighbors and siblings. So knowing that there could be this disagreement, this argument, what comes from it the positive that's going to support this is the sun in Cancer at 29 degrees in a trine with Neptune in your first house. So the sun in Cancer is in your fifth house of children or creative projects or a lover or something that you want to start or investments or gambling or risks. So the sun is saying, I have to do this. And in Neptune, I have to intuitively follow where I'm being led. I need to do this. It's in your first house of your identity. It's your appearance. It's your ego. It's literally who you are. You cannot not. Now, Mars in Gemini is also supporting this. Mars in Gemini is in a harmonious trine to Pluto in Aquarius. Mars is, I'm going to go after it. I'm going to do this. Something that will have to do with family or your ancestors or your foundation or real estate or home life. People that feel like family. This is part of this topic. And Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. It's in this harmonious aspect of, I'm going to stop the karma from repeating over and over. I'm ready to heal and renew. So whatever is going to happen at this point is going to, all of the planets are bringing it together to say they're all in harmony, working with this square, helping you to navigate this transition. All right, then as we move to the 22nd, you're now going to have the sun enter into the sign of Leo. So now we have all of the water signs, all of the planets out of water signs and into now fire, and focused on you nurturing and caring for yourself, finding a mentor, finding a guide, your service to others, coworkers, employees, your health, all of this. So now as the sun moves into this house, remember, it's about let's make this a daily habit. Like, this is fun. I enjoyed this walk, or I enjoyed this yoga. I'm going to make this more pleasurable and enjoyable. Opposing Pluto. Pluto is the planet that is that wants control, and the sun in Leo is about ego. And so there could be this battle between a hidden enemy or somebody that's behind the scenes that will need some kind of a transformation, because it's an opposition of a battle of the wills or opposing forces of how do I ground and center, and I have a strong desire for control, or I really want to do this. I want to have the inner strength to move forward with this. It will be a battle that could be from within, and other people will not be able to see it or notice it, but it'll be just with you. Now, as we move to the 25th, we're going to have Mercury now enter into the sign of Virgo. Mercury is now going to move into your partnership sector that has to do with love and contracts, negotiations. It's your 1+1 house. So it's you with best friends, significant others. It has to do with conflict and legal matters. Mercury is very comfortable in the sign of Virgo in this house, making it really easy for you to navigate these waters. I'm saying keep it on the back burner that Mercury is going to station retrograde in 2 more weeks. So whatever you're starting, this could bring back a renegotiation, a reconnection to somebody. It'll be all of the rewords of things that you are doing now. And then on the 26th, we're going to have Chiron stationing retrograde. Chiron is the planet, is not a planet. Chiron, it represents our wound, and it's in the sign of Aries, which is you, your identity, in your second house of self-worth, of I need to deal with my self-esteem, my self-worth, how I feel about money, how I feel about my resources, how I feel about my salary, my income, my possessions. What do I need in order to feel secure? What is my value system? And so this will be a going backwards and inwards to identify your strengths and your weaknesses in order to heal and renew to move forward at the end of this transit. So Pisces, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Please join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations. For private consultation, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe.